So right there.
Well, go ahead and feed him.
Hello.
How's everybody doing tonight?
What's up?
Zach is ZAK, right? Zach.
Yes. Yes.
Well,
ZAK.
Sorry,
actually, it's
I'm all-
ZACHARIE, but
But on thing. So I remember the person I was talking to you about that just
Yeah.
that we were just talking backstage. She would like to join your podcast if you have an opening that day to talk about her recent
yeah,
thing.
absolutely.
So I'm gonna have her send you a friend's request, or have you send or her send you a friend's request.
What's her name?
I'd rather not say it right now on here.
Send it to me.
Okay.
It's 2 a.m. to 12 midnight Mountain Time. And we have a spot that Jan and I are going to do, but if she needs an earlier spot, I'll give mine up for her.
So, for those that don't know what we were just talking about, Zach does a 22-hour podcast and support. Tell them about it, Zach, so we don't look just idiots sitting here talking.
Well, what we're doing is this is our second year in a row, and we're taking 22 hours that we dedicate to talk about how to start a conversation with our heroes, those who have. My face is disappearing.
You're fine.
But those who have served our country, we're losing 44 to 47 veterans every day. And so we're dedicating February 22nd to a 22-hour podcast. It goes from 4 a.m. East until 2 a.m. East. Of course, you can do your own time limit or time from there. But we're wanting to discuss organizations that work hard to help our veterans, and we're wanting to help people learn, start a conversation, because conversations don't start themselves. And if we're waiting for this to end on its own, we're just going to continue to lose people.
Hey, your grandbaby's saying hi.
Hey, Angel.
She keeps telling you she's not an angel.
Yeah, I know.
You're about to find out she's not.
She just said the VA failed her. The mental health professionals weren't skilled to deal with her and others like her. And she's really thankful for what you do.
Brad?
Well, we're doing this because those men and women, they raised their right hand, and only 1% of Americans raised their right hand to say that pledge, to defend our country and to defend our way of life. And we're losing 44 to 47 of them every day. And we need to make sure as citizens that we're there for them when they need our help, because they were there for us. So, this is all just a way to try to help them out. And so if anybody needs any help, just go to communitypayitforward.us, communitypayitforward.us, and you can go to the link that talks about it.
Or you can message one of us.
Yep.
And I'll say this on the other side for any of you parents who have children in the military, or if you know anybody who has children in the military, reach out to those parents, because they're going through hard times too.
Yep.
Because I know that nothing near what the veterans are going through, because we don't see the actions.
I don't know. I think the parents do go through just as much, just because they don't know what's going on, and they'll never really know the truth.
But even just when they're gone from the moment they step on that plane and leave to start, whether it's boot camp, whether it's whatever the branch calls what. My son was at my side for 18 years, and that was my baby. I was put on a plane to defend, that had a potential. He never saw action, but had the potential of doing stuff that makes sure y'all's babies get home safe and has a good environment to live in.
I've got a great friend who started a wonderful program called Project Die Hard, and he said every time he came home, his wife had a different husband, his kids had a different father, because every time he came home, he was a different person. And that's something that, this isn't, when one person is depressed, everyone has to deal with this. It's not a one-person thing.
I didn't mean for this to be a Zach show, but it's a very touching thing because even like you said, the children. I mean, I remember, and I never understood it. My dad, they always said my dad changed when he was in the military, when he came back from Vietnam. And I didn't understand because I didn't know my dad before Vietnam, but my dad was a very violent man when I was growing up. Luckily, not luckily, but luckily, he had a heart attack and realized his ways, and he is a totally different man than he ever was when I was growing up. We didn't know who was going to get slung through a door. It was an extremely violent household. Cops at my house all the time. And that's why I always say, you never know what people have gone through. So always be careful what you say to people because people would never know. I'm energetic and all. You would never know that, and I'm not scared to talk about it, but you would never know that I had neighbors at my house with baseball bats wanting to beat up my dad, or that I watched my brother get slung through a door that was closed when I was 3 years old. But he is a totally different man now, so that is not who my father was. But I used to walk in his house because my parents got divorced over, because of all that. But I used to walk in his house, and of course, being the kid that would sneak in, my dad would get up, and he never hit me. I was the baby girl, but he would almost knock me to the ground, and I never understood how he always heard me sneaking in.
Yeah.
And finally, he told me one day, he goes, I need you to come in the house making as much noise as possible. Because when I woke him up, if I was sneaking in, he was trained that the people who meant him harm was sneaking around.
Right.
The people who didn't mean him harm made noise. So therefore, he thought I meant him harm. So he wasn't coming after me.
Yeah.
He was coming after someone that was potentially going to harm him.
Right. Yeah.
And when he told me that, then I learned I could sneak in the house making noise, and I didn't wake him up.
The thing is that it's a conversation that if you do have, and not everybody is built to have this conversation, but we want to introduce these programs like Project Die Hard, like Veterans Ranch, which provides equine therapy. Like we talked to GI Janet today. They're going to be joining us. And it's for the women veterans who go through the same stuff. Okay, it's not just the men, it's the women too. But, we're going to introduce those because not everybody can have this conversation. Because you know what? The truth is, and you guys use vulgarity on this show, correct?
No, never.
Not, yeah.
I'll take all the claim for that one. Go ahead.
But the truth is that, you know what? When you're talking to some of these individuals, you better be ready because you're going to hear some crazy shit that comes out. And if you don't think that you are able to handle it, contact some of these people. 44 to 47 heroes again. Is just, can we on the 22nd, are we going to stop suicide?
No.
Only if we don't try are we going to fail. So,
but you're not going to stop it. But if you can keep 10 people from doing it, one person from doing
one person. So, all right. Well, hey, I appreciate it, everyone. And I would like to also just publicly thank Jeremy, because Jeremy is allowing us. We are going to be taking over Things Network on this side, on this day, and Nick's show is always on Wednesday, is always on our channel as well, and so he's going to be participating. He's going to be working something that's going to be really, really fitting, and I think it's going to be great.
I started looking
in a room.
I started looking up with the Paris Island location. It looks like there's quite a lot that I could fill in for a presentation, so I could definitely put something together.
It's
young man,
be great.
That's enough.
So, but thank you guys. I appreciate it. It's going to be a lot of good times, a lot of bad times. But you know what? It's thank you, Jenny. But you know what? The thing is that we're here to save lives. So come and join us.
Go make my dinner. I cooked it. Bring it to me.
Yes, dear. I forgot.
Like that's how that works. Yeah. Mhm.
So with that, yes. Last year Zach did it for 22 hours. Adrian hosted a portion of that along with Jan, who also had. I think Nick, you participated in it at one point.
I believe I did. Yeah.
Okay. I know I was a guest on there for about an hour or so.
Mhm.
Rosie Page was on there. We had all kinds of people on there from our end helping out.
And Holly. Yeah.
What day of the week is that?
Shoot, I don't know.
Hold on. I got a calendar right in front of me on my computer.
Jenny.
My calendar's stuck on this month, so
So
I don't know how to use this computer yet. Hold on.
yeah, so February 22nd, that's on a Wednesday, and on from 4 a.m. Eastern time until 2 a.m. the next day.
So tell Zach to put me down sometime after 6 o'clock on, and I'll jump on
after 6. Okay.
after 6, just because I can be off work hopefully.
PM,
Nina's
right?
asking what's the event again.
Okay.
Okay, the event is is there a proper name for it?
Hey, Rebecca.
It's
Hey,
a
sister.
22-hour, excuse me, it's a 22-hour podcast for veteran suicide awareness for it. Talk to people who have considered it, gone through it, survived it, whatever. Talk about help, what kind of help that's available for them. Basically, just do whatever we can to raise awareness and hopefully save lives.
Yeah, the thing is, it used to be 22 a day. Suicide used to be 22 a day. That was over a year and a half ago. It's long past that now. It's in the 40s. But
Yeah.
obviously, there's not, 44 days in a month. So everybody still thinks 22 and suicide. And when you think 22, you think military. And that's what we're trying to do. It's not just the people in the military. It's not it's the wives, it's the husbands, it's the kids. There's kids, and like Eileen told the story a little bit ago, I never experienced that because my parents were immigrants. I didn't get that. But what I did get was one of my friends, I spent the night with her, and it was just her and her dad. I don't know where the mom was. I really don't know. But she said, do not move in the middle of the night. Do not go to the bathroom. You need to go before you go to bed. Because I've had him with a gun over the top of my face in the middle of the night just because he heard me cough. She said, I was like, nope, I'm out. I'm gone. You come home with me because I'm not doing this. My dad was a doctor, and I'm like, I never experienced this. And my dad finally sat me down, and he was from Bulgaria. So in his very vulgar Bulgarian way said, when I was in military in Bulgaria, you don't have a choice. You join, and you have so many years you have to do. It doesn't matter.
And let me ask you this. I'm sorry, Adrian.
Go
continue.
ahead.
I'm sorry. No, go ahead. I'll catch up.
He just said something about like he had to go through. It's whatever was happening then. Of course, it was a communist country, but at that point they were killing all the animals in Bulgaria because they were carrying rabies. So they had to go to everybody's home and kill their pets.
Jeez.
And I don't know. I guess I know they had to do it, but to me that would be so traumatic. I just don't know.
And I hope I'm not stirring the pot and being rude or anything here, but is this Project Die Hard strictly for American soldiers? Because you do have Joanne on here, you do have Jenny on here.
Nope, it's not.
Okay, so maybe I don't know if y'all already do some of these
See,
people
Jenny
from
wrote this
other
down.
some of these other countries, because no matter what, and this is my thoughts, and this may be controversial, and everybody knows me, I try to stay away from controversial, but military, I'm like Zach, it's deep and near to my heart.
Yeah.
I was going to join, but I got pregnant. But no matter what you're fighting for, even if you're fighting against us, that is still someone's baby fighting.
Yeah.
You're fighting for what
Yeah.
you believe, even if it might not be what I believe. You're fighting for what you believe,
And you're
or what
fighting
your
also for
country.
your home.
And some of them, your country tells you.
Yeah, I was
you're gonna
about to
fight
say
for.
you're also fighting for your homeland, but yeah,
Yeah.
on some occasions, like what you just said, Eileen.
Yeah, so I'm gonna, you know me, I'm the opposite of Eileen. I am very controversial, and I am gonna tell you, I completely believe in anybody who is fighting for their country. I don't care if they have to, if they want to, if it that is their duty, that is their belief, and that is perfectly them.
And there's some countries out there that you have no choice. If you
That's
don't
right.
do it, you're gonna die.
That's right.
Or
And
family.
yes,
Yep.
and I remember in seventh grade, I was in junior high, you know, way back when there was grade school, junior high, and high school. Yeah, there was a time that happened. So I had a friend, and I don't know why I remember her words so clearly. I was only in seventh grade, but I do. Her uncle or brother, I don't remember which one, was in the military. And she came to school one day and she said, he died. I said, what happened? She said, screw you, Brad. She said,
If you see it.
Back in the pyramid.
And we're not ignoring anybody in the chats. This is just a very deep conversation.
Yeah.
Right.
but I had to acknowledge Brad.
I know.
Yeah. I
Um,
was wondering what he meant by that.
but she told me, she said, my mom got a letter a week before he died. And it said, Mom, I know things I shouldn't know. And this was American military. Come find me. I don't give a shit. It was American military. And it said, Mom, if I die, I didn't do it. I am not committing suicide. I didn't do it. I never understood that.
My queen, my dear, my love lumps.
Stop acting stupid.
No, it's not
I
a
love
steak.
you.
She's not your queen. It's not a steak. You did season your meat, though.
Is it seasoned? Yeah, you're good.
You seasoned his meat.
But I never will forget this girl saying this. And then she said, they found him dead. They sent this message and said he was dead and he committed suicide. She said, I know he didn't. And she was trying to tell the whole class this, like she's trying to convince this class. And I never understood why until I grew up. And I was like, really?
He is killing me. You got a serious conversation, but he's killing me up there.
Tom,
I'm sorry.
I'm trying to point the right direction.
It was
Tom.
just Eileen. She
we
said
can't
something.
help
That,
it. He's a little mentally challenged. You know, it's just him.
You know, I cannot imagine under any circumstances, no matter who you are, receiving a letter like that.
No.
I couldn't either, but as a seventh grader, trying to decipher what was just said. And I'm sure part of her thought process was what her mother said. You know, I don't know. But I will never forget her saying, he didn't do it. The government set this up. He didn't do it. The more I grew up, the more I taught my kids, please don't join the military. No, that was not the right thing to say. It absolutely was not. But that was I never forgot her words.
See, now, I was up because I come from a long line of military, and that's what you did. Everyone who knows me, knows probably what I'm gonna say. I'm an ancestry nerd, and I sit there and regardless of what your beliefs were about the Civil War, again, we're down to what you were fighting for is what you felt you were fighting for. You needed to fight for.
Mhm.
But I'm still, when I saw that my third great grandfather was a POW at the siege of Vicksburg. Now, he survived and all, obviously, because they didn't really kill POWs because it was still Americans fighting against Americans. But, I mean, they did, but but it was like, it broke my heart. Then I read in a journal that I found, I went to not Vital Records. What's the name of that place that has all the history records and all that?
Historical Society.
It wasn't a historical society. It's kind of more along that line, but it holds everything for Mississippi. I got you, Shelby. And but I started researching, and there was a journal I found, and I can't find anything on my Robinson lineage beyond my whatever grandfather, William Robinson.
Mhm.
But I found in a journal, I found his battalion, whatever, and he was on a horse and on Champion Hill. I know Ghost Adventures did a episode in Champion Hill, and this kind of what kind of ticked me off really bad. But so I was reading this journal, and my grandfather was on a horse. Someone shot at the horse. Shot at my grandfather. The horse got shot and killed. But in the journal, it said that my grandfather jumped on someone else's horse, took off. But it's that split second that if that bullet would have hit my grandfather, I wouldn't be here. It makes you really think that split second, if he would have died in war, because my grandmother was not, my whatever grandmother was not born yet.
Be right back.
No. But, it does make you think. I mean, just so many things can just change an entire future. The people who do commit suicide, there was more in there that they needed to do in this life.
Yeah.
And it stopped because they gave the ultimate sacrifice. Not even just just the people who just died during war. Or even, there's people now, it does not just start because of the fact that they go off to war. That is not even where the issues start. If they tell you all the time, hey, you've got, and I did not mean for this to be a Zach conversation, thing, but they tell you, oh, it's not like it used to be. They can't do the stuff to the recruits like they used to. Yeah, they can.
Yes, they do.
I did not realize. So my son was in Parris Island, 4th Battalion. And I was told, oh, no, they don't. Okay, I'm just going to say the word. They don't beat them like they used to.
Oh, yeah, they do.
And so everybody found out my son was in 4th Battalion. No, which one is it? 3rd Battalion. 3rd, 4th? 4th is females, 3rd. I'd have to go back and look at his thing. I'm sorry if I'm wrong. But anyways, anybody who's a Marine, correct me if you went to Parris Island. But his building was in the very back of Parris Island. No one was around. He told me some things that happened. He says, but you didn't do it. And I was on these Facebook pages where parents are like, I can't believe they're doing this to my child. I can't believe they're doing it to my child. Well, I actually sat my son down. He goes, so you were okay with them doing this to me? I said, was I okay as your mom? Yes and no. I said, because what they're doing is still controlled to an extent. It's still you're still have a hospital. If they hurt you too bad, you're still a hospital right there. Yeah. I said, but if you become a prisoner of war, are they going to baby you?
They're not.
So you do need to learn what it's like in the real case scenario. But there are people. I know a kid. I don't know the kid personally, but he was with a friend of my son's. He was in his platoon, and he committed suicide during boot camp.
Yeah.
It starts there because these kids don't know. They literally, most of them leave mom and daddy's house with all the comfort, and they sign up for it, but they go into this environment that's totally different than mama having breakfast for them
Yeah.
at the breakfast table.
And that's the thing, you know, I everybody knows I'm an open book. I don't pull any punches. I will tell you exactly who I am. Like it, don't. I don't know what to tell you. But there's lots of scenarios where I was wrong, and I'll flat out tell you, yes, I know now I was wrong.
You say that? Really?
And, but I told every one of my kids, do not
Big old Tom.
sign up for the military, because they do tests on you. They do blah, blah, blah. Yeah. No, I wasn't there to know that. It's just what I've heard. And so I didn't want them doing that. Now, on the other hand, I have one son that I raised that is in the military, and he's not my natural child, but doesn't matter. I raised him. He is in the military. He's doing an awesome job there. Then I have a biological child who is half Indian, who my white mama, yeah, come here, let me slap you. He's 2 states away, so he's going to be here next month, and he will get slapped. But he's like, I took from my Indian side, my white mama. Oh, yeah? Take your ass to war. You just, I encouraged him to sign up. Take your ass to war, because you need some respect for some white people.
Adrian, have I ever told you how I found out my son joined the Marines?
No.
So my son, he always talked about the Navy. He's not the best student in the world. He doesn't test well. He's a smart kid. He just doesn't take tests well. So he knew military was probably going to be more his lifestyle.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, no offense, he loves firing guns. But so
nothing wrong with that.
He was there was an issue. I think he was too short for the Air Force, maybe. There was something else, and he didn't want to do Army. So he was like, I'm joining the Navy. I was like, I can deal with the Navy. You got 4 hots in a cot. Or 3 hots in a cot. Well, I say 4 because I eat too much. But 3 hots in a cot, you're good. I'm happy, Mom.
Mm-hmm.
I'm at work. I get a phone call from, you'll see him on here every now and then, from Tim Surratt. And he was our chief of police at the time in our town. And he called me up. He said, hey, do you know where Brandon is? I said, are you calling me on a professional or a personal level? Because is he going to jail? So he said, on a personal level. That was always my response when he said, did you see Brandon today? But he wasn't a bad kid, but you just never know. And so I was like, no, I don't know where he's at. Why? He goes, he's at the recruiter's office. I'm like, okay, well, he's joined the Navy, the Marines, all that was right there together. I said, he's joined the Navy, no big deal. He goes, no, baby. He's at the Marine recruiter's office. I'm going, huh, what? And I know, no offense to anybody in any other branch, but I know the Marines are the toughest branch. That's why you don't have to go back through basic or boot camp if you leave the Marines to go to any other branch. So, of course, I don't know much about the Marines other than my uncle was a Marine. And so I'm freaking out. I'm trying to get my son on his cell phone. He's not answering. I'm like, Tim, what's he doing? He goes, he's signing papers.
Oh, no.
I'm like, oh, crap.
Oh, boy.
So that's how I found out my son joined the Marines. I said, well, what happened with the Navy? He said, well, I got to thinking, did I really want to be in the middle of an ocean for months? And he goes, and if I was in the ocean, the Navy had to take care of me.
Wow.
Yep.
Well, I
What a dummy.
from that perspective, because when you're out there in the ocean, something happens, you've got nowhere to go.
Right.
Wrong. You do have somewhere to go.
You do.
Overboard. And nobody will ever know you left.
Yeah.
He was scared he'd be on a sub. He said, I could
You'll be
handle the boat. My luck, I'd be on a sub.
He
Yeah.
will be shark shit. That's what, yeah.
My dad spent 4 years in the Marines when he got out of school. And he has told me so many horror stories of things that the drill sergeants would do. And one of the stories that he told me is that how they would punish people for certain things that they did. And one guy, I won't say what they did to him, but the end result is that he had severe brain damage as a result of it.
My uncle, and I had never heard of this. My uncle was a very private man, my dad's baby brother. And so I'd go visit him all the time, whatever. Never brought it up because I found out later he didn't tell me about it because he knew I was dealing with my son being gone. I had other kids, my dad being in a nursing home and he still has, but he was having at that time major health issues. But he sat there and all of a sudden I get a phone call at work and my cousin's on the phone and he said something. I couldn't understand what he said, or I didn't think I understood what he said. And I'm like, well, okay, who died? He's like, such and such. I was like, wait, no. I'm sorry. I don't think I heard you right. Who died? And he finally, because he kept saying Uncle Joe died. And I was like, who? I wasn't comprehending. And then all of a sudden he said, my dad, meaning his dad. And I dropped the phone. And I mean, I was mentally gone because that's my dad's baby brother. And he was, as far as I knew, he was in perfectly good health. Yeah. And so I immediately got off work, ran to see my Aunt Rita and my cousin. Come to find out, now it's everywhere on the news or on ads. If you were in Paris Island between these years, then you can have da-da-da. He actually developed the leukemia. He was in his 60s, 70s, whatever. He developed the leukemia. If you see those ads everywhere on television, he got that. And he was he was overweight and all, but my whole family gets that way. But other than that, perfectly healthy, I thought. But he ended up developing leukemia because of being at Paris Island for boot camp. So now I see those ads like 15 times a day.
Camp Lejeune, I think.
Camp Lejeune. Yeah, I'm sorry, not Paris Island, but he was stationed at Camp Lejeune.
Yeah. I see that commercial every time I go over to my dad's house. He watches the cowboy channels, but every single commercial has that. If you've been at Camp Lejeune, time to this time, contact us.
Yep.
Yeah, so I mean, I'd never seen that commercial until after he died. But and he was
whoa.
Then I was freaking out.
Okay, I don't know who this guy is. Let's go back just 1 second. I don't know who he is.
He just said earlier from even from insane asylum.
Yeah, I'm just not sure. Okay.
Well, first, what is AML? Because I don't understand what that is.
Yeah, what is AML?
Yeah, can you elaborate on that, please?
If you get a chance, message one of us, please. I would love to have you on a show, and I would love to talk about the out-of-body experience, the afterlife, all of that. Okay.
So while we're waiting for him to respond back,
myeloid leukemia. AML is I'm assuming he means acute myeloid leukemia, cancer of the blood cells.
I thought so, but I didn't want to guess that.
Someone just
no, Tom, I need one. I'm drinking Diet Coke.
Cheers,
really
Tom.
Here's what Shelby said a few minutes ago.
Shelby, I'm with you on that. I mean, I sit here now and go through stuff. I thought of Jeremy. I came across my grandfather, that I call my grandfather, was my grandmother's second husband. They were 20 years apart in age. His name, but anyways, he was actually, I believe, in World War II. But I found his stuff for being a master mason, Jeremy.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll discuss that later. Nope. Nope. We'll discuss that all later.
We'll discuss that later. But whoever it is from the Mark Joe shows, yeah, message us sometime, and like Adrian said, we'd like to get you on the show and talk about those out of body experiences.
Or
That's
even
right.
if you don't want to mention your name or you don't want to be, named, talk to me. We'll do it anonymous. I've been on a quest here recently about near-death experiences, all that good stuff. So, yeah. Tom has a fear. I don't believe it.
Yeah.
Cheers,
Now,
Tom.
as having people in previous wars, like Shelby saying that she had a grandpa that fought in World War II.
Okay.
I don't know. I think my grandfather also fought in World War II, but I'm not 100% certain on that. But I do know that I've got a distant cousin who fought in World War I.
Oh wow.
He's actually a decorated hero because he went in and saved a lot of Americans. I don't remember the scenario of it, but he's very well known. Alvin C. York, Sergeant Alvin C. York. He's actually a distant cousin of mine.
I'm writing it down because I am going to look this up. So this person here,
Yeah, Joe,
do know.
Teen Asylum
Joe.
podcast.
I have seen that podcast like once. Forgive me. I'm the worst about being on this one when I'm supposed to be.
Ooh,
That's
great.
so
Brothers in
do
Korea.
not get mad at me for not knowing what that is. I've only seen it once, but I do know what it is. If you're okay with that, you can either come on our show or I'll interview on your own show, whatever.
He just wants more knowledge.
Huh?
You just want more knowledge.
I do. And here recently I've been into what happens in the afterlife, not really what happens, obviously we don't know that, but the near-death experience type thing, what people experience, because I've said it before on here, everybody's is so different. And I'm trying to figure out why. Why is it so different? If it's all the same place, why is it different? If it's all, obviously we don't all have the same God belief system as everybody else. But even though one is pagan, one is Christian, one is Jew, one is, anything, Wiccan, some of them all have the same experience when they first pass. And then they come back with, I saw flowers. I saw my family. I saw a black hole. Why? That's kind of my thing right now. Not that I'll ever really find out, but maybe we'll get some data on it. I don't know.
Tom's like saying it is open mic, isn't it? Bring him on.
If he's willing, of course. We'll have him on. We're not trying to make this all military. We're not trying to make this all, whatever. If anybody knows me, I was everywhere.
Yesterday, tonight, we just
Scott.
real talk night. Let's talk about real stuff. That's because we've been having a lot of stuff happening lately, just in the last couple of weeks.
We have, and I'm going to say here in this coming weekend, we have we have an investigation that's for the first time in a long time I'm actually excited about, because usually it's like
Speaking of, Adrian,
what is
look
it?
on.
Who's on?
That's me. She's the one going to come with me, actually.
Brad.
She actually lives right here, which is so awesome. I finally have somebody that lives close that I can actually trust. And she's like right here. She is awesome, empathic. She's awesome medium. So yeah, it's awesome that she's here. Her husband really wants nothing to do with this. So it's like me, her, and Zach, or it's going to be me and her, and the guys are going to stay home. That's the way this is going to work. But
I have to say hey to Scotty.
Yeah, good to see you. Nice to see you,
Morning.
Scott.
And you know, that's one thing I saw the other day, and it kind of pissed me off because Scotty does. He absolutely supports everybody.
Mhm.
He does. And I saw the other day where,
His post.
yeah, where he supports everybody, but everybody's not returning the favor. I thought I missed something. So I'm
Maybe.
like, wait, what did I miss? Apparently I didn't. But the point is, there is not, if you'll go back on this show, even
Joe just wrote this.
there is not too many shows that you're not going to see him on. If you have an issue and he knows who you are, there's not too many times that he's not going to message you and go, what's going on? Can I help?
I
What's
don't
going
like
on?
Scotty.
You're full of fucking shit. I don't like him either. I love Scotty.
He's mean to me. I'm sweet to him, and he's mean to me.
Mimi. Okay, so Mimi's husband, yes, he might run, but as a friend, he is awesome. He really is. I could not ask for better friends being this close. I'd be willing to come anytime or talk
Yeah.
to you. I would talk tonight if you don't mind. Honey, we don't care. You want me to take mine out? Shit, I don't care. I really don't. I'm about as real as it gets, and if you've ever watched a show, you'll know.
Yeah.
I don't hide much of anything.
Scott and I are trying to work on a time where he and I can get together for lunch or dinner sometime. But between the both of us, we got really, really hectic schedules.
Oh, is he close to you?
Hey, Brad.
I'm telling you guys, I promise you, when I finally get to meet Brad, which actually Mimi and I are talking about renting a RV, and
Uh-oh.
we're going to go to Indiana this summer. Brad,
Oh.
Brad, you thought you'd never see Brad. Brad, watch yourself. Between now and then,
So, Brad,
Listen, but-
July 32nd may come a lot sooner than you expect it to.
it's coming in July. Yes.
So what Zach needs to do, Zach needs to buy an RV for Project Die Hard and travel around with you, because you can work remotely, and then you can go to Indiana. He can do his thing, and you
Yeah.
can go to Indiana. And when we never see Brad on a podcast again, we know you did something with the body.
No. If we never see Brad again, he knows he saw me. He knows what he's up against, and he just disappeared. We're gonna leave
And
it
you know
there.
what? Before you say it, Brad, no, using Gorilla Glue on her will not stop her.
Oh wait, no,
Yeah,
let's stop
but
there.
it is. She will probably use the Gorilla Glue to keep him hidden where she puts him.
I got an idea.
There's this great thing that I heard when I was like 12, which I've still wanted to try, but I never disliked anybody enough to try it.
Uh-oh.
And if he was to push it, I guess I can. But, you know, there's this thing where you take it and Gorilla Glue it to the belly. Let's see what happens. I can video it.
I know. I've heard of what you're talking about. Yeah. Not a fun story from what I've heard.
Brad, you want to be the guinea pig? You trust
Well,
me?
he says he's got his Gorilla Glue hot glue gun.
So,
Okay.
His ex did
I'm
that to
game.
her ex.
Let's do this shit.
What?
about this coming summer, so I'm gonna let you guys all in on the very latest.
Yeah.
Oh God, I did not know she was on here.
No,
Okay,
before you get started, Jeremy, I got something for Brad. I got something we can do to Brad, Adrian. Let's take that Gorilla Glue, only because I don't want to kill him. Let's take the Gorilla Glue, glue his lips shut, but we'll put a straw right in the middle to give a little bit of breathing there.
There's nose.
okay. His nether regions are not going to kill him. If I
Hey, you
glue
know
it
what?
to that belly, it is not going to kill him.
But think about it this way: if we did that, then he couldn't say, "Alexa, play Poison."
You know what else, by the way, after when you guys do that, is that's when you guys could sue the hell out of Gorilla Glue because it didn't say on the disclaimer you couldn't do that.
It now says you can't put it in your hair, probably, but it doesn't say not on your lips.
Yeah, that's what I mean. You could sue the hell of the company again because it didn't say on the disclaimer.
Yeah.
Don't do it on lips.
Sure, I'm pretty sure it says not to get it on your skin.
That's not it.
Trump right there. Go away. There we go. Okay, he's gone.
So anyway,
Rodney Carrington, Morning Wood. That is a song. We can fix it.
it is.
Pay us for this. I promise you. I've seen him in concert. He's awesome. We can do this.
Oh boy. So this coming summer, I know Adrian knows about this. Eileen, you may have seen this.
Probably not.
A couple days ago, I have my latest doctor's appointment. This is with the doctor who's going to be working on my nose. He said that what he's going to do is going to take 2 surgeries.
I got it. Good. Now,
I love how
my
everybody
granddaughter's
jumps on
still
the-
watching. Please turn the phone off, sweetie.
I love how everybody.
I love you. Good night.
I love how everybody jumps on the Brad bandwagon.
Brad. Hey, Brad. Your lotion? My lotion? Bub. You'd be the only one using that lotion. I don't have an issue. If
Brad,
you
I'm just gonna, you know what? I'm just gonna say this now because it's talking about lotion. Is for him, it puts the lotion on its skin back. On its skin.
It puts his lotion
me.
somewhere, I'm sure.
Or else it gets the hose again.
What were you saying?
Okay,
I'm
You
sorry,
remember?
Jeffrey.
this is how the show goes. It's how it goes all the time.
Okay,
Train's here. We're here.
Yeah. So
Robin.
the next thing not the next thing, but the nose is going to be the very last thing done. As we all know, in 6 weeks, I am having surgery on my eyes.
Oh,
Hopefully, I can get rid of this thing.
I don't know. It's kind of cute. I mean,
It's
it's
grown
kind of
on
like
me.
that.
You know the song "Bye Bye Bye" by NSYNC.
yes, I love that song. Late 90s, early 2000s.
So anyway, so it's going to take 2 surgeries to do my nose. The first surgery is going to be to file it down to narrow it and straighten everything out. And then once that heals, the second surgery that he's planning on doing, I never even thought about this because the initial doctor just wanted to do a skin resurfacing on here just to try to smooth out the scar. What this doctor is planning on doing is taking some skin off of my forehead and putting it in a couple places to give me a more rounded nose, which I didn't think that he'd be able to do that. So
The nose.
there's that. But before he does anything, he wants to make sure that everything else is completely done. Which means I need to get this cheek brought in some more because I'm still not happy with it. Because when you look at a picture, you see how my face is kind of oblong or something like that.
But
Let's
are we
look at-
ever happy with our?
Right, exactly. Let's turn this around.
I was happy with how I looked like before this accident happened. Now I'm trying to get back to how it was. I want my skin, my bone structure to be symmetrical.
But let me tell you a little secret, Jeremy. I want to be a size 2 again.
Yeah, me too.
I want to have thicker hair and less wrinkles.
Is that possible?
No, I don't think so. I've tried everything.
Okay, yeah, because okay.
Yeah. Here's the thing. Here, the difference between that is this didn't happen naturally.
No, but guess what?
Well, either did this. Y'all caused all this. Look,
Nick said, I will accept responsibility.
Meaningful
y'all.
beauty.
Okay, Jeremy, you're either going to do this overnight like you did, or you're going to do this like we do. Getting old, looking in the mirror every day and going, well, fuck. Okay, there comes a time. Now, when I was younger, I wished I didn't have this scar here. I don't give a shit about that scar anymore. Not a shit about it. But there's things that keep going south that should not. Like, you know, you feed some kids and then they're gone. Your booty goes somewhere it should not be. You can't help that shit.
Right.
And you still have that booty. So I don't want to hear that shit.
see, I can seriously say this picture, if anybody can see it, you see my waistline kind of goes inward. That was not long before Kansas. Y'all caused all this. I'm blaming you, Jeremy, and you, Nick, because I was trying to do my chin lift and y'all made fun of me.
I mean,
Help your case either.
I saw you in
She
Kansas.
is inevitable.
I would still hit that ass. So don't even
Wait.
worry about that shit.
Who did you hit? Who's
Your
that?
ass.
Oh, I feel special now.
So I wouldn't even worry about that shit.
baby.
Now, hi,
Oh, you got busted.
hi.
What the hell's
Oh
going
my
on in
God.
I said I'd hit her ass because there ain't no damn thing wrong with her ass.
here? Well,
That's what
she
I
kept
said.
hitting your ass. That's all I remember.
Yeah, well, you didn't. So
Well, there's a girl at darts that her husband play her and her husband play darts with us, and so now we've got a thing. I have visitation rights on her ass from 7:30 p.m. to about 11 p.m. every Tuesday night.
there you go.
He can't touch it. He owes me $100 every time he touches.
There you go. Jan, what? What? What?
I think I'm going to have indents on my neck after being Adrian.
Just put the red room away,
Oh, no,
bro.
honey. Indents on your neck are not even close. Your neck, you have nothing to worry about. Now,
Right.
you're behind. You'll have indents on it if your behind's cute, but you're going to have more indents on maybe, I don't know, the side of your face for talking some shit, or I don't know.
We might make that gut a little bit smaller because we're going to
Poor
punch it.
Zach.
a few times.
Yeah, there we go. And your wife, I'm really hoping I get to know your wife before that because she's going to laugh.
Just corks for behinds.
So anyway, that's the latest.
Jeremy, what?
What? What did I miss, Jen? What did I
Yeah.
miss there?
Jeremy, your show got derailed.
I was saying that's the
Wait a
latest.
minute. No.
I don't have one.
Hey, I still got it. Look, it's there. Now, hey,
Oh,
Oh,
this is for Nick. Hold
no
on.
complaints.
oh no. Do I dare? Oh. That face that she made when we took that picture, remember, Jeremy?
Oh, okay. Yeah, well, I can.
I remember you kept telling me, take
Not
a
a
picture,
problem.
take a picture.
I just got a screenshot of it.
Oh, that hurt.
Man, this
We have
conversation
no problem with that smacking.
I think Adrian and I are having a good night.
Hey, we don't have very often that we actually get. You better spike that shit. Spike that shit. We don't get very often that, we don't have very much longer in life to go.
Yeah.
So what we got, we're damn proud of.
Hey, I will tell y'all, I will not be on the show next week.
You are.
Why?
Yeah, you already told us that.
Sequins this time, baby.
What is next week?
The
No, I'll
27th.
be here.
Cut
Yeah.
the verse.
Do what?
Jen, who's getting laid? It ain't. Never mind.
It ain't me.
Never mind.
Nope.
It ain't none of us.
Next week is that red carpet event of yours again, that award ceremony.
Look at Twitch.
This is the one that's with the actual like a bigger event one. So I can't wait to see my girls dressed up. And McKenna says she's watching, but I guess she's not going to comment. But my assistant, I think I finally conned her and being on the show to watch it. And I think my courtesy officer might be watching too. So I don't know. So I have to. I'm not. They know I don't behave. So I don't have to watch.
You're what is? Wait. I actually think my boss is watching too. Yeah.
I love my job. My job is awesome. Joe is the best courtesy officer. I fire every 5 minutes, and McKenna's getting fired tomorrow.
Joe, oh my God, whoa.
Yeah.
Let's go back there. Who?
What, this? Who's
That's
Joe?
Eileen.
That's
You
with
want to
me.
explain this?
Do you care to tell us something?
Joe, would you like to elaborate there, Jen?
McKenna, take care. Go to his apartment. Get him.
Hey, Steve, how you doing, bud?
Don't worry, McKenna. We'll keep it a secret.
What's going on, Steve?
What was that?
Answer the question next week. What's that?
Yeah.
Tell me about it.
Are you hearing things, Adrian? Oh, she's talking to someone. I'm like, she's like,
Oh, something that I am excited about.
Joe deserves to
See?
get fired.
See all of this right here?
Why does Joe
Is that your
deserve to
music?
get fired? Why?
Stories that I've written.
good.
Joe.
Finally printed them out.
Good.
You're talking about Joe Quinn. Why does he need fired?
I
so he
fired
said something
Joe.
right.
I fire Joe every other day.
Mm.
Tom, this one's
That's
for you,
why he's
Elaine.
kissing that ass.
He doesn't get
Let's go
fired.
ahead and tattoo those lips on your ass. We'll be done.
I do need a tattoo.
Let's do it.
You know, surprised I don't have a tattoo.
We're gonna
either.
do karaoke in Kansas, then go get tattoos.
Let's go. What the
You
hell
know what?
are
I
we
don't
waiting
have a
on?
tattoo.
We've
I don't have
already
a
done
tattoo either.
karaoke in Kansas. Now let's go get a tattoo.
Maybe I should join in because, like I said, I don't have one.
Well, let's go.
Okay.
I need to think.
Your
No,
mom would kick my ass.
yes, you.
Yes. No. Hell no. I'm not dealing with your mama. No.
I know what
not her.
Shelby
I'm gonna
wants to
get-
join in.
I'm gonna get Nick's name tattooed right here. Did you spike my drink, Adrian?
Of course.
I was behaving.
I can't be the only one.
I had serious conversations.
Oklahoma.
Yeah, Oklahoma. I'm telling you what, Oklahoma does some shit like this.
Oh my gosh. All right. Adrian, you get the phrase I agree with Brad tattoo.
Brad, hey, let's go get a tattoo. Let's go to the parlor. You ready? You ready? And when we get there, it's going to say, I kiss Adrian's ass. That was right.
Remember, we are in a cult now.
Shelby,
God. No,
Shelby,
she's not. No, she's actually not joking because somebody, her and I went on a trip. And if anybody knows our story, they would know why. But if they don't, that's anyway.
I know part of that story.
No, you know.
I
the
don't
whole
know any
story.
part of the story.
So we went to Kansas, and at the end of our trip, we're like, My son is actually her son. Don't ask how that happens. It is. And
Well, I can
her
tell you how
young
that
man-
happens, but I think you know. Okay.
Her young man is my baby. I love that young man. And her young man that is deceased, no, I'm not disrespecting her or anybody else. She has no problem with me saying this. I promise. Her son that is deceased kind of travels his whole family between me, her, his brothers, his sisters. That's just what he does. And so we just kind of change kids when we need to.
I got some I can send your
Hey,
way.
I got these things. What the hell you call me Jen for? Look, you see these things? They may not have been D's at one point in life, but they are here, young woman. What the hell's wrong with you?
Do we need to put the disclaimer up?
Yes.
Yeah, maybe I should.
There were
Maybe I
audio,
should.
so please use the video. Hey, Brad.
This is
Brad.
not NC-17. This is not rated R. This is rated triple X this time.
Oh no, I was just gonna say it's just rated G for Gorilla Glue.
There we go. Perfect. Okay, so we get to Kansas. We're on our way to Kansas. My son bonds with her faster than anybody. And my son is really hard to bond with anyone. He's Indian. He's like white women. We've already talked about this. White women dated a boy. White woman gave birth to you. Your ass wouldn't be here. End of story. We have this conversation every time we talk. But my stepson was with my son when she met him. And that's okay, Jen. They can think what they want. I don't give a shit. But she got to meet my stepson that I had not seen in years. I mean, years, like 12, 13 years. What I did know is he tried to commit suicide like a month before I got to see him again and she got to meet him. Her and that child and my child bonded like instantly. It wasn't, I want to say 3 months after we got home. 3, 4, 6 months. That boy that she met did commit suicide. Well, they said he did. He didn't. He was murdered. When he tried to commit suicide, he did it with a belt. He meant business. It was not going to fail. He did what he needed to do. Well, by the time it was over, between us and our medium friend, he did not commit suicide. It was with, those long 6-foot cords that you plug into a phone to charge it.
Oh,
He
yeah,
tried
we
to
got one of those.
Suicide with that. He didn't. I
Jeez.
promise you he didn't. Tied one end to a barbell set in the hallway, put it over a bathroom door. Now, mind you, everybody knows that a chintzy built mobile home, the door is like particle wood. It is not going to hold up anything. Put it over that, put it around his neck and tried to kill himself. No, he was dead long before that happened. But she got to meet him before he died. He came to everybody but me because me and that boy fought. He was my stepson. We fought. But he did not commit suicide. He didn't. But she got to meet all of my kids, like past, present, and
Future?
future. Not yet, because something happened. She did not get to make it to my wedding, so she did not get to meet future. She will. But these kids are like a part of her, and her kids are a part of me. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. And her little girl, oh my God. If you ever see a picture of that little girl, let me know if you think she's demon or angel. I think she's an angel. Mama thinks she's a demon. I don't know.
I can bring you mine right now.
Been on video on
I
this.
would love to have a similar story to what happened.
Hold on. Hold that thought.
Uh-oh. Here we go.
Shelby,
Video on this show before.
message me and tell me your story. And that's part of what this show's about. We all
Yeah.
talk some shit. We all, anybody that knows me knows I'm about as open as it gets. Ask me anything, I'll tell you. I don't give a shit. But we also like to work. Yeah. Back to the cult thing. Yeah. So, because we went and got a tattoo together, on the way up there, we're like, we're both healers. We're both energy healers. We're both empathic. She is way advanced, way past what I am. And I always tell her that she's like lived 5 lives. And she is way older than her age in mentally. She really is. She knows the right thing to say. She knows how to fix things but like anybody else, she can't fix her own.
Joe.
She needs somebody to be able to be there to say it. Speaking of cults, what?
What?
My demon child's asleep.
Oh, no, we're not. No, that Charles Manson bullshit.
I do have a question. I actually have a paranormal, not really, but a bit sensitive question.
Okay.
So, with me being in the paranormal so much, and I've been working on opening myself up more. But what I'm finding now is my personality is starting to change.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I am not don't let things roll off as much. And so I've catch myself, and if McKenna's still watching, then, but I catch myself feeling a lot more lately, and I find myself snapping more. So when you have people who are like getting into you,
yeah,
and you don't even realize you're open up, how would you like shut it down like that? I mean,
don't.
what would be?
You
I
don't.
need to.
No. Here's the thing. You're opening up empathically. You are allowing yourself to feel everybody else. A side effect of that is
It's feeling everybody else.
It is feeling how they can hurt you. It is
Because,
the best thing and the worst thing at the same time.
y'all have all known me for at least, what was that? Over a year now, working on 2 years at the minimum.
Yeah, almost 2.
And so y'all know that I'm always the type that goes, okay, but let's look at it this way.
And that's
And
okay.
I still do that, but it's more boom. And now I have to take a step back and go, oh, I shouldn't have done that.
No, do not do that.
Wait.
Your first instinct is exactly right. Don't second guess yourself. Don't do that. You need somebody who counters you.
But when
Jan?
you are in a situation, you don't need to do that.
No, you do. It doesn't matter. Your feelings are valid and they are legit. Yes, there's I guess some kind of you're supposed to be this way. No, screw that. There comes a point you are done with that. And when that point comes, Jeremy will tell you what somebody like me. I don't care what somebody says about me. I don't care.
I used to. I don't know if it's because my age is hitting there. I'm finally getting. Okay.
It is. It's your age and it's your empathic. But Jeremy can tell you, I do not sugarcoat what I think about somebody. I don't even try. I will say, this person might be thinking this way because of this certain thing, maybe. But the reality is they're an asshole. And I am not about to put up with that shit. I'm not.
See, I snap on Joe every week.
Well, we have to be real. We really do. And if people know that you are completely real, you will not sugarcoat anything, they will trust you. And they will also hate you. And that's okay.
Like I tell everybody, I might not tell you what you want to hear,
There you go.
But I'm going to tell you, and I'm going to say it this way.
No.
I'm going to tell you my truth.
Right. Exactly.
Because my truth may not be your truth, but I'm going to tell you
Right.
my truth, but I may not tell you what you want to hear.
Right. Exactly. And Jan, as much as she does, I'm pretty sure she won't want to take the credit here, but she is going to. I don't give a shit. I'm going to shove that credit up her ass. She taught me that because I'm going to tell you, somebody needs the opposite of them to be able to counter that and say, hey, look at your situation a different way. And she does that for me constantly. It's like, come on, look at this a certain way. Janice Lynn, what the hell?
What?
No, ma'am. No.
I mean, I'm the girl
No.
that just, when was this? About this time last year, a little bit later than this time last year, that someone was trying to break into my car, trying to carjack me. And I was scared to hit him and run over him and kill him.
Yeah.
I
I get that. I do.
remember-
Now I'd probably be like, get out of my way.
No, you wouldn't. No, because society tells us, we look at all these news documentaries, all of Jan.
By the way, I did have my wine.
One thing needs to be brought up.
But seriously, they look at it as murder. Before they're going to look at it as, oh, you were saving your own life.
Right.
We're not in Texas. These pansy ass little son of a bitches, entitled
NC-17.
little shits, is what's
NC-17.
running this world right now.
Yes.
And we can't fix that. We can't change it. But we can, if you'll put it out there on Facebook and say, these are entitled little shits that should not get to run this world, you're going to get 10,000 that agree with you. But those 10,000 are not going to say, oh, wait, let me help you fix that. No, they're too chicken to help you fix that.
Like,
they're going to go,
rag-
oh, no. Yeah.
I rag Nick about his age, but I'm going to give Nick kudos. He is not the normal person for his age.
No, he
does
is
not
absolutely
act the
smarter than his
entitlement.
age.
He is well beyond his years. He doesn't have the entitlement that people his age have. No
Mm-mm.
offense to other people his age, but because you might not either. But Nick is different, even though he's still only 10 years old.
What? Okay, so I got to know Nick's mom when we went to Kansas. I'm going to tell you, she is not going to allow some entitled little shit to act like some entitled little shit. Number one, she's an attorney.
Yes, she is.
She is not about to let him act like that. Now, does she guard him? Yes. But she also lets him make his own mistakes.
Like, Nick, I mean, I'm going to be honest with you. When I started seeing you come out on these podcasts, I was so proud of you. And although I know I told you this before, I was so proud of you seeing you coming out of your shell.
Yes.
But I was also a little scared. I was scared at anybody. First of all, I was scared if anybody came at you, I'd have to kill them. But I was just because you were always to me, and this is me. Jeremy's known you longer. Adrian's known you. It was like you were in this shell, and it was like you were opening it, and I didn't want anybody to bring you back into it, to push you back into it. And I've been so proud of you for the last year or almost 2 years. I've been so proud of you. Okay, that was my nice moment. You're done. I'm done with you.
Wow, talk about nice moment. County deed records, $200, signature required for redemption. Me and my ex-husband. Yes, I will get that $200, will I?
It ain't worth it.
Not even a little. I won't tell you. This is the funniest thing I've ever heard. My ex decided he was going to try to friend my husband. Excuse me? The fuck? The fuck? What did you just say? I clicked delete, block. No. People
Oh,
are crazy.
I sent your husband a message on who it was I want him to reach out to, right?
Baby,
Yeah.
read your messages, please.
I haven't messaged him in in a long time. Or I think it was back probably a year. It was December 23rd, 2021. I
Oh, that-
forgot I have his name as Gummy King.
That's me, not him.
No, you're Gummy Bear. He was Gummy King.
It's all still good. Babe, gummies, I don't give a shit. It's good. Wedding last October. Okay, Jeremy, we have to get this dude on the show.
Yeah,
Send him the
Joe,
link.
Yes, that one. He needs to message me. We need to talk. Yeah.
All right, I'm sending you a message right now. So
I think I
No
might be
teeth
friends with
required.
Joe.
Close
Yeah,
required.
No filter required. And
oh,
no, I don't have one. Sorry.
Clothes are required, but no teeth are.
I opened up a message for him. I completely forgot. They asked me to be on a show with them.
Really?
Oh, and you really?
Nah.
Really?
Don't do it. It's don't do it. It's a trap. Adrian will take your soul.
So
I will.
real quick, I want to touch up on what Eileen was saying about, snapping and all of that, because I find myself doing that a lot lately. I get very, very irritated really, really quick.
There's two reasons for that, Jeremy. It's not just age. It's really not. It's confidence that you do know what you're talking about. That nobody else needs to tell you what the hell you need to feel or think. Or
It's not just that, but I feel like that is probably accident related as well.
You came
No.
across something that was
No.
so traumatic that actually
Uh-oh.
your life is totally different now.
Yeah.
Hi there, Joe.
Don't
So-
know if you can hear me.
I find myself getting real irritated over certain things, especially stuff that I'm trying to do. And even my dad has noticed that as well. He's like, you get mad very, very quick. I was like, I know. I've been seeing that, and I don't like it.
Okay. Zach, who are you taking out for a soda there, babe? Because
Stop.
I promise you want to take him out. I you know what?
But
We can discuss this.
Nick, I got you.
Oh,
No, Jeremy, there was lots of times. Do you remember before your accident? There were so many times I would say, fucking say something.
yes,
Stop that bullshit and say something. Stop them in their tracks. Stop it. And you were like, I know, I will if it gets too bad. You let it get too bad.
yes.
You don't anymore. That's perfectly normal.
Well, here's the thing: that the catalyst of it was actually the very beginning of me noticing this happen, because back in March, most people don't know this, but we actually had to go to court in order to arrange the whole arrangement of my daughter with the respite care, and all that. We had to go to court. So my dad and I went to the court, and we both were walking with canes at the time,
Mhm.
and we weren't aware of certain rules that the courthouse has, meaning you can't have your phones with you. Okay, fine.
I remember that day.
Dad went through. He had his phone, and then I went and parked a mile away because I wasn't paying for parking. So I went and parked in somewhere free. Walked through, and I'm walking with a cane, and I'm only 3 months post surgery. I get there, and I go to the metal detector, and it's like, you can't have your phone here. Okay, well, can you keep my phone back here, and I'll just pick it up? No, you have to take it to your car.
I remember that. And that was, I thought that was like the shittiest thing that they could have done.
Yeah. So I walk out. Luckily, I ran into my ex who was coming in for the same thing. She parked like half a block away, let me keep my phone in her car. Would save me from having to do all that walking and missing the court hearing. So when everything was done, we come back, and I keep thinking, what happened to my dad's phone?
Right.
They kept his phone back there behind the counter. And I looked at him, I'm like, really? He's like, what? You can keep his phone, but not mine? Well, he's elderly. That doesn't matter. Look at me. Look in my face. I'm walking with a damn cane, and I scream at them saying that there's no excuse for that. You know,
Yeah.
It's a stereotype.
It
Yeah.
is. It was.
They look at you. They look at you with that cane,
Mhm.
and they look at you and they say, "Well, this is just a young guy. Why the hell has he got a cane? Just to get the disabled parking or something?"
Yep.
You know, I've gotten into a fight over people, and the funny thing was, here in Wisconsin, these cops in some of these small towns, they don't like to get disturbed for stupid shit.
Right.
And this guy sat there and he's like, I'm calling the cops. And I said, go ahead, call the cops. Cops comes out, ran the plate on my car, found out that it was to me, you know, registered to me legally, and the disabled plates were legal. So he just wasted the cop's time. $200 fine for the guy for wasting the cop's fine.
There you go. Yeah.
And
Good.
And I felt like, oh, justice has finally been disturbed, because I get these weird looks because I walk with a cane all the time. You know, I may look normal, but my legs are far from it. I have what's called chemo-induced neuropathy, because when I had that leukemia, the treatments for it were a lot different back in '95 than they are today.
Yeah, they are.
yeah. But yeah, I let those cops have it. They were Fort Wayne City Police, and I let them have it, and everybody in that building knew it.
Well, I have most of the cops on my side anyway.
Yeah, and
Because
I did not even give him a chance to apply. I told him this is bullshit, and turned around and walked away.
so,
Mhm.
well,
So,
before-
you know
I
what's
have
really
a collection
strange?
of badges.
Yeah,
You know what's really strange? I just seen Joe come on.
That
There we
I
go.
actually have held in the state of Wisconsin.
I'm not sure why, but I feel like I've seen Joe before.
You have.
Probably.
You have.
I'm sure I have, but I'm not sure where.
Everywhere on Facebook.
No. It's like somewhere where we've actually talked. And for some reason, like,
Well, let's see.
I like that dude.
Since 2000, we've been doing this since 2019, and when COVID hit and StreamYard became available, we realized, well, we could have guests from all around the world. So maybe at some point you were on our show.
I might have been. That might actually be. Yeah.
And so let me go ahead and apologize for anything she may have said, Joe.
Oh, I don't offend very easily.
No, I'm just saying because
See?
she's just crazy.
Joe was asking
bad.
about.
I will offend Brad any day of the week. I don't give a shit.
Well,
I
I
don't
don't know who just noticed that I was trying to offend Nick.
Yeah, you
I'm
were.
about an hour south. What would that be? Northeast of Madison, northwest of Madison.
Hey, I
You're,
was south of Madison, but not Wisconsin.
I live in a small town called Watertown.
Joe, I gotta say, I mean, you're probably actually not that far from me because I live down in Illinois. I'm just an hour away from the Illinois-Wisconsin border.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm in
I'm
the
gonna tell you.
Chicago area.
I don't like
It's so
Chicago.
strange because
I used to drive
But-
cab for a living after the leukemia.
Oh,
And
okay.
so I had to go directly from Dane County Airport to Chicago O'Hare, and that place is a disaster
no.
area.
Well, I want to
Yeah.
comment on what Robin was saying. My husband's the same way. If you look at my husband, you think he's perfectly healthy, but my husband's actually terminal. And there is people who have said stuff because he doesn't have he just has the placard, and he'll park in handicap, and they're like, "Who'd you get the placard from?" Because he looks fine.
Yeah,
And
that's all we got now too, because I don't have another car anymore because my eyesight's going bad, so I don't drive much.
well, he
anymore.
now if we're somewhere and there's only one handicap left, we won't park there. But we do try to park there because if he gets out of breath, he's got to, we never know what's going to happen. He's waiting on a new heart, but he's also got a clot blocking one of his lungs.
Oh,
No bullshit. You park there. You don't have to
No,
explain your shit to
I do it
nobody.
anyway.
We
'Cause
leave it
I never know when
open.
my legs are going to give out on me, or
about to say,
they're going to start cramping. My legs start cramping. I had the cops called on me once.
No,
3 o'clock in the morning, I woke up out of a dead sleep in extreme pain because my legs were cramping all the way from the hips all the way down into my feet, and it gets severe.
but we
And
leave
that's
it
from all
open
the radiation.
for people like Joe, or that is in worse no offense, but is in a little worse condition than my husband, can have can have something go on more than my husband chances than my husband can. So we leave it open for them. But now we check every handicap that's parked, just going, this is ridiculous.
No, hell no. Mimi, let me tell you something. Let me be with you and somebody pulls some shit like that. Let somebody, fuck that. Let somebody do that shit with me.
Yeah, they don't mess with me anymore. They look at me, and I wear leather coats and stuff like I always have, and people look at me and they decide to back off because they don't even want to mess with me. They get too afraid. And I like that. I do, because I don't like, having to get into these arguments, because normally ever since the leukemia and the stuff that I went through, I've tried to not be such an asshole anymore.
Right, but why should you have to? I mean, okay, my husband, if anybody knows his story, he has been in a motorcycle accident. He was left in a ditch for over 7 hours, left for dead. They turned his motorcycle lights off because they thought they killed him.
My husband and I almost the same thing, but what motorcycle?
Right. So, nobody knows the story somebody's been through. And if you see him walking, the only thing you'll notice that even says something is wrong is one side of his face has palsy. And that's it. That's all you'll notice. He won't walk wrong.
I even noticed that when I was with you guys.
Yeah. And so, you don't know the pain he's in. It's migraines every single day. The
ouch. Oh, God. I suffered those damn things. I used to go to the emergency room because and that'd be the last thing I'd want to do.
Yep.
Was go to the emergency room and have one of them fuckers give me a shot in the ass that stings all the way down my leg. Because they used to give me Demerol and Vistaril.
Oh, Chad.
Who is that?
Yeah, it's Jan.
These doctors would sit there and look at me with the long hair and say, "Oh, he's in here trying to seek drugs."
Exactly.
No.
Yes.
Because I've got pain pills and muscle relaxers right here, and if these fucking things don't work, I gotta go somewhere.
Well, and it's not, now you don't get the disability plaque off of this, but it's not even just physical or ailments. I mean, I had to explain one time that I suffer from panic attacks and anxiety attacks. And it's gotten worse in the past year. But my whole thing is, ever since I was a kid, most people don't think about, well, how am I going to die? But when I was a kid, I always thought I was going to die from suffocation. And to this day, I do feel I'm not going to fall asleep and go, I'm going to suffocate. Now, whether it be drowning type suffocation or whatever. So it was so bad that when I got my first vehicle, they had this new thing, not really new, but new to some vehicle, and what it says it's called electric windows. And so, but when I went to buy my first car, I had manual windows. My mom goes, "Why are you getting that?" I said, "Because I had to cross the reservoir a lot. It's a big body, it's like 35,000 acres of man-made lake." I said, "If I go in that water, I want to be able to put my window down." She goes, "You really think like that?" And my mom suffered from it too. And I was like, "Yes." And so lately, if it's overly stuffy and my nose gets too stuffed, I feel like I can't breathe. Everybody's like, "Just breathe through your mouth." I'm like, "I can't." It feels like my throat's closing up. And
Right. Yep.
so it's like I feel like that's it. This is when I'm going to suffocate, and I'll go into a panic attack.
Yeah.
And that can be
It could be in the middle of Walmart.
Yep. Yeah.
And those get very debilitating. I've seen panic attacks and anxiety attacks. Somebody have them so bad that he became a shut-in.
Yep. Yep.
See, I was coming home from an investigation, and I had fallen asleep in the car. I woke up, and my husband had the heater on because it was cold outside, but the heat was blowing right on my nose, so it dried me up. I literally, and not to sound perverted or anything, I literally stripped down to my bra.
Yeah.
Had the window down, trying to breathe in air, but it's getting more stuffy because we're going like 80, 100 miles an hour. Told my husband, if I'm not better, it was like a 2.5 hour drive. Told my husband, if I'm not better by the time we get home, you're taking me to the emergency room.
See, I don't even think like that no more.
So
after what I went through, I tell people I'm going to live forever. I'm a fucking vampire. I'm not kidding. I do it all the time.
We got to the first truck stop, which was like an hour away. We got to the first truck stop. Of course, I got clothes back. I put my clothes back on. Got outside. Just once I was able to breathe, I was fine. I went in, got some Benadryl, went splashed some water on my face, and I was fine. I knew what I needed, but I could. I was in a Nissan Z. So I was in enclosed space. That was, my husband, because he has low blood or his blood doesn't flow right, he stays cold.
Right.
So I didn't want him to turn the air on for me because he needed the heat.
Yeah.
So I suffered for about an hour, and finally, once I got out in the air, I was fine. I knew what I needed, but there was nowhere for me to get it.
Right. Yeah. And see, that's something. Jan made that comment a minute ago. I look healthy as a horse until you see pictures of me 3 years ago. Ignore that. Look at her now.
Well,
she's beautiful. She's young. She's healthy.
Well, that's what she's talking about. She's saying now she looks healthy as a horse, but when you take what she looks like now compared to what it was 3 years ago.
No.
I think that's what she's saying.
No. She has a disease which most people, and she's talked about this openly, so it's not like something I'm saying that she's going to get mad at. It's called the suicide disease. And literally, I worked for a foot doctor that told me about this disease long before I met her. And there was 2 people that he treated that had this disease. And what happens is your body fights itself. And she's saying you can see how sick I am, all the weight I've lost. But if you look at her right now, she's like model. She's beautiful. She's got the body of a model. But what she is fighting is her body fights itself every single day. The pain is so bad that she has to make her own medication, and I don't mean illegally. She has to make her own medication to help get her by. Most people within 2 weeks of this disease kill themselves because the pain is so bad. The pain is debilitating. It is, and there's no cure for it. There's no getting away from it. Your body just, the nerves kill themselves doing this. Like you can get hurt on one side, break a bone on one side, your body's trying to heal itself on the other side. So this never heals. And then this one hurts because it's trying to heal. It's awful. It really is. she's managed to do what she can and raise a lot of kids. We're not going to go into numbers. She's raised a lot of children with this disease, and she's a beautiful soul. She really is. Anybody that knows her, yeah, she has her days that you're going, oh my fucking God, what are you talking about, woman? And then in that same day, if you have an issue, she'll look at you and go, love somebody where they are. Stop judging, love them exactly where they are, but you can also leave them where they are and walk away without hate, without judgment. Walk away and love them where they are. And that is like the biggest lesson I've ever learned. She is younger than me, obviously.
Who isn't younger than you? Oh, sorry, I had to, Brad. I had to help Brad out there.
You and Eileen are going to be in the same coffin, Brad.
No. Adrian, you look 24.
But what's funny is somebody who is so much younger than I am has taught me so much more. Like she has lived so many more lifetimes than I have. I have no problem admitting that. I have no problem accepting that.
Maybe her soul's just older than yours.
It is. It's so much. And anytime I have an issue, I told her when I first met her, I'm like, why am I fucking coming to you? I am almost 50 years old. You are not. What the fuck's going on? She's like, I don't know. But I'm telling you, this woman knows so much more. But she can't do it for herself.
Brad.
Only for someone else. I want a stinky coffee. No problem, Brad. I will shit in a coffee can and put you in it. I have no problem with
Jan? What?
Jan, that might
No.
need some explaining.
No, she's
You might have
not
to
joking.
explain
That's well, kind of. But when she first met me, she looked at me and goes, I'm pissing on you. You're mine. You're my property.
Hey, I do the same
Been
thing.
that way ever since.
I hit people in the ass. Joe, if you ever meet me, just go ahead and poke your butt out. I'm hitting it.
I don't have one.
That's okay. I'll find it.
Oh, yeah, you do. Yeah,
I
you do.
get told by my wife every day I don't have an ass.
I mean, I'll find the little bitty one, and
Mhm.
and I do it just right. I get up underneath it just right.
She sure does. Like,
Yeah, so that goes to show, no matter how any of us look, even though some of us may look very healthy, the truth of the matter is not all of us are.
no. And somebody that wants to judge, go ahead. But
Yeah.
when you do that, walk up to somebody and ask them, hey,
I tell them
what's
if
going
they
on?
want to judge me, I don't give a fuck. Because
that's the reason.
you don't like me, I don't give a fuck.
That's the
You
reason
know?
I've always
I
been
love that. I love
I've been
that.
fence person.
I'm getting too old to care. This
There
isn't
you
high
go.
school no more. I'm not
There
in
you
high
go.
school anymore. This is real life. I'm 50. Well, I'm going to be 56
Oh,
in
Nuh-uh.
March.
Nuh-uh.
you're still a baby.
Yeah. Yeah, I was born in 67. I was 10 years old when Elvis died.
Oh,
Oh, wow.
shit.
So,
Well, I mean, and that's the reason I think, because I do try to see people that what they don't show you. And I've always been that person that does walk the fence. And like if Adrian came to me and said, well, Nick's being a jerk today. Well, okay, well, let's look. Why is Nick being a jerk today? What could be going on?
Jan
with
does
Nick
the same
today?
thing. She really
You
does.
know, and then I'm like, okay, but I can see why you think Nick's being a jerk today. Because I do want everyone to kind of
Oh my God, Brad.
look into people and see there's a reason, especially if it's not there. I told someone yesterday, attitude I can handle. An attitude is normally brief. A personality is harder to handle because a personality is who you are. So if you're being a jerk today, I can
I'm always
handle
a
that
jerk.
because that's well, see, prime example. Nick's being a jerk today. I know something's going on. Joe's being a jerk today. That's his personality, and that's not fixable.
so my stepdaughters, they bring their little boyfriends over and stuff like that. I'll immediately, because I don't remember names very well, I'll just ask them, I'm like, who the fuck are you? You know, but I've also kicked some of them little bastards out of here because, you know, I was raised with these very old fashioned morals since, you know, I am who I am. And I was growing up in a very old fashioned Italian family where you respect your elders and, you know, you respect others when you walk into their home. And, you know, I told the kid to put a shirt on in my house and he didn't want to put a shirt on.
Oh, hell no.
Fuck out.
Oh,
Who would even go to someone's house and take their shirt off?
yeah, really.
He's entitled little. Never mind.
Yep.
Okay, so Brad.
And it's normally the ones that don't have a good set of abs that do that.
Brad, we will meet soon. I promise you. I don't care if I have to spend every last dime to come see you,
She will come
We will
find
meet
you.
Brad.
She doesn't even
I'm
have to
going
come.
to
to me.
remember every last thing you said.
You don't have to remember. Just go back and watch lives.
There we go. And so everybody that is watching these lives can see why you passed away.
Well, and you can get off, and that's a great insanity plea.
Yeah,
It's all. I mean, it's
exactly.
already out there.
Brad, honey, it was nice knowing you. I will haunt your ass for the rest of your life.
I can't even say it was nice knowing you.
If you don't, that's okay. You can haunt me because I know how to lock your ass into a little box. You will never get out.
She's kind of
Let's
got
find
you
out.
there, Brad.
Let's find out.
Real quick, while I'm thinking about it, later on tonight, I am going to start working on getting this show onto Spotify.
Awesome.
nice.
So
Yeah.
everybody on Spotify will see how Brad died. Okay.
Yeah, because I've already got 13th Dimension on Spotify, and I just put Marks on Wrestling on Spotify. So now I'm going to get this show on it.
Oh, Brad. Oh, my. Okay. So,
Okay, so next week, real quick, I'm interrupting Adrian, but why don't y'all bring? Since I won't be able to be on here to interrupt Joe. Why don't y'all bring Joe on next week to talk about his things?
I don't know
Joe,
what I'm
you
doing
game?
next week.
Hey, what's up?
I could
boy?
be available if it's a Thursday, I guess.
It's always a Thursday.
it's a Thursday.
It's like it's always
Right.
sunny in Philadelphia. It's
We're
always
starting-
a Thursday.
We're starting back. Well, we were supposed to start back tomorrow, but the guest had ended up in the hospital with a heart stent.
Oh, crap.
Oh.
Wow.
Oh.
Ooh.
Well,
So
what time?
Brad,
What time is your show on Fridays?
7 p.m. Central.
Oh, okay.
See, I love you, Central people.
Blake, what you doing, bub? I miss you.
You make my life so easy.
I'm the only one who's Eastern.
Yeah,
You're-
I've been here. Well, I was born and
What?
raised in Wisconsin.
What the? Tom, what?
So
I have no idea. I'm not even gonna ask that.
Okay, number one, if he wants to talk about his things, let him talk about his things. I don't give a shit. Well, let's go.
I'd
Well,
rather
no,
Joe
no.
talk about his things than Brad talk at all.
But Brad, if he was to talk about his things, they don't exist. So I don't know.
That's
yeah,
why
at
you
least
can't
my
gorilla
thing
glue
fits
'em.
into the paranormal world.
That's just exactly it. Mr. Brad is paranormal when he wants to talk about his things because there's nothing normal about his things.
Yes, I saw that, Blake. That's awesome. You're
You
coming
know,
back.
but surviving the leukemia and surviving a car crash, because I got into a very serious car crash that they actually on the radio station, they actually had me dead, but I wasn't dead, but I was thrown through the windshield and out of the car. And then I did one of those. I got told this afterwards because I don't remember doing it because I ended up passing out before they med flighted me to the hospital because I lost too much blood.
Right.
But my oldest daughter, who was in the back seat in the car seat, hanging upside down because the car flipped, and then it landed on its roof when the brakes
Wow.
failed. And I broke literally broke the door off the hinges to get her out.
Oh gosh.
Wow.
And I don't remember doing that. I got
Is that
told that
adrenaline?
by one of the people that were pulled over that witnessed the accident that were behind me.
It is that
Which
adrenaline
is
that comes
jogged
out.
a memory for me. So something about the day of my accident. This is something that my dad told me what the ambulance driver told him. Now, Adrian, you know the description of how I looked and what kind of condition I was in on that night.
Yeah.
Dad tells me, and again, this is what the ambulance driver told him. After they got me to the hospital and into the ER, for some reason, I got up off the stretcher and was walking around on my own in the condition that I was in. I don't remember that, but I don't see how they would even allow that because of the shape I was in.
They had no choice. Do you remember after the accident getting out of the forklift?
I wasn't in the forklift when it happened. I was on a platform checking the tank. I remember getting hit.
Mm-hmm.
I remember standing up, and I remember walking down the platform
Okay.
and walking out of the room,
Okay.
everything there. And I remember being in the ER, but I don't remember ever being on my feet once I got to the hospital.
Do you remember anything once you walked off the platform, what people said to you?
The only thing that happened was that there was nobody around, and I saw Tad down the aisle, and I yelled at him.
Mm-hmm.
He looked at me for a few seconds, and it finally registered, and I saw him take off.
Yeah.
Team leader came in, and I could hear him when he got about 20 feet away from me, calling on the radio. I need an emergency response team member.
Yep.
Where we were at.
Excuse me.
You don't remember what somebody said about the way you looked, do you?
I remember Dad telling. Well, he still says this to people today, that if it weren't for people telling him that that was me, he said he'd have never recognized me. And
No,
I
I mean on the job. Just on the job.
just on the job,
Mm-hmm.
he didn't. Andrew told me that I had a dash on my cheek, but he didn't really elaborate on that. But I knew it was worse because I could see the tip of my nose hanging off the side from the eye that I could see out of.
You text me from the ER before you were even seen. And the message you sent was the person that saw you, and you didn't give any names, but the person that saw you when it happened went pale white and almost passed out themselves before they could call for help.
That was probably Tad.
It probably was. But it was really strange because when you left the hospital, you still text. I mean, when you left the work, you still text. When you got to the hospital, you were still texting coherently. Until they put you in a room and actually had to put you out medically.
And they struggled with that because you know how they always put that little mask over your mouth and nose? Well, because everything was so open, they had to jiggle it around a little bit to try to get a good seal.
Yeah.
And it took them a good 5 minutes before I was out.
Yeah. And then there was so much in the works there. Besides just that, I think at that point there was maybe 3 of us that knew what really happened, or what you knew what happened, and then you kind of went silent because they put you out. So the rumor mill, of course, started.
Oh yeah.
And I had to get very adamant or nasty, whichever way they want to put it. I don't care which. That yes, there is a 50% chance that you may not live.
Yeah.
We knew this. I mean, it was not a secret. It was, of course, don't tell him. No, bullshit. He knows. There's no doubt about it. He knows. So let's not play games.
That was the first time I had actually truly thought this may be it.
Yep. And, people, oh, don't let him. How stupid do you think he is? Seriously? Let's get real here. There's a 50% chance he's not going to make it. Now, this is not the doctors talking to us. This is not, any medical professional. This is just us stating what we think. Now, is it just a thought? Yes, of course it is. But it's also leaning on the side of reality. So everybody freaked
I
out.
don't know about reality, but I do know that the will to want to live has got a lot to do with surviving those serious accidents and something as severe of the leukemia that I had. Because when it did get diagnosed on me, it was pretty grim. Like I said, I was diagnosed December 4th, 1995, and they said I was not going to make it to see Christmas that year, and that there was nothing they could do for me.
Did they tell you that?
That's what they were telling me.
Back then, they used to say stuff like that. Now I think they've gotten more cautious.
I was taken to the UW hospital in Madison, and because I was, let's see, what was I? I think I was 28 or 29 then.
Wow.
They had no choice but to talk directly to me. Okay.
And here you are, 27 years.
That's because I have a very strong will to live.
I do
like
believe.
I said, I tell people today, I'm a vampire. I'm going to live for fucking ever. Nothing's going to kill me.
And that's something that people need to understand. It is like, I'm sure everybody's heard it before. You can think yourself sick, or you can think yourself better. You can sit here right now and go, oh my gosh, I got a flu bug, or I got corona because my neighbor just had it.
No.
I've got it. I'm going to die. Or
I
I'm so sick.
I am careful. Because when COVID came out, because I hibernate in the winter pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
That's why we do what we do now.
Right.
But when the summer and stuff come, and it gets warmer weather, I'm trying to get out as much as possible.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. But in the wintertime, I try to hibernate because I missed 3 winters. So my tolerance for winter, plus I'm older, has gone way down.
Right.
It actually makes the cramping and stuff a lot worse in the winter
Right.
time.
But that's your own knowledge. That's actual facts.
Right.
Well,
That's
and I'll
not-
say,
So
Oh my gosh,
when COVID hit, I didn't go out at all during the summertime. I stayed in. My buddy Mark wouldn't let me go on any investigations. We canceled everything as far as that went. And, my wife was real careful so that she didn't get it. And, grandkids, if they were sick of anything, they weren't allowed to come over. It got real, but that's what we do because my immune system's still compromised.
Right.
Because, it doesn't come back fully. And because I was the age that I was when I was diagnosed, it ain't never going to get back to 100%.
well, I'll tell you, when my husband, so
I know who that is.
my husband came to my office, and we had thought he had a stroke a couple of months prior to this, but then we got to the hospital and we went to the UMMC here, and he didn't remember my son was gone to Paris Island. He didn't remember that we had animals. There was a lot of stuff he didn't remember. Well, we got to the doctors, or we got to the ER, and of course they're saying, what day of the week is it? What this? What's that? I'm like, dude, he doesn't know that on a normal basis. So if anybody knows me, we're huge Buffalo Bills fans. So I was like asking him, who's the quarterback to the Buffalo Bills? He went like years back. I mean, he can tell you every stat of Buffalo, but he couldn't remember who the quarterback was. The owner had just died. He didn't remember that. Of course, the doctors thought I was crazy, but I kept saying, this is stuff he'll remember. And so they said he had transient global amnesia. And so I was like, okay, so we were treating for that. Well, he shows up in my office one day and he's pale. So he goes to the doctor. And me and my assistant at the time forced him to go to the doctor. He was literally having a heart attack at the doctor's office. So he was trying to drive himself to the hospital, but they transported him to another hospital. Of course, I'm telling the doctor, I don't think he has this transient global amnesia. I think it's something to do with blood flow is messing with his brain. And so finally we got the right doctor who's like, yeah, that actually makes sense, because he went in to have bypass surgery, found out his heart's too dead for bypass surgery and all this. And then they pretty much told him that, basically he had to drop so many more percentage to get a new heart, which, I mean, anybody knows anything about heart. I mean, he's at a 17 EF percent. They said it'd be like a 15 to get a new heart. Well, you can drop from 17 to 0 in a heartbeat. Well, the doctors now, this has been at least 2016, maybe 15, 16. Doctors to this day, he'll go to the doctor and say, they're like, we don't know how you haven't dropped at all. He actually raised a little bit, which you're not supposed to do. And, but they're like, we don't know how you're still walking. He can't work though. He wants to work, but he can't. But, they're like, we don't know how you're still functioning. We're renovating a house. He's all hands on deck, renovating a house and all this. They're like, we don't get it. And he's like, well, because I'm exercising and I'm doing this. I think it's more, when we found this out, I sat him down and said, okay, we can do one of two things. We can either have our life revolve around your illness and think about your illness and all this, or we can live the life to the fullest and have memories for our kids in case something does happen to you. I think I feel that because we went at it with a positive note, it's kept him around longer.
Yeah.
That's right.
The mind can heal.
That's what I took, because all last year I was traveling everywhere.
Yeah, I saw that.
Focused on working on my stories and my novels. I'm currently working on 4 novels now, and I've got ideas for 2 more that I don't want to start yet. And plus, I've got 6, 7, 8 short stories that I've written. Adrian has, I think, all of them. So now I am on the mindset of, okay, I have lived my life working and then coming home feeling like shit and not wanting to do anything else. Now I'm living my life for me, doing what I want, doing what's really important.
And that's what some people don't understand. I tell you that, after I got done, doctors like, all right, I went through that final, what they call it, a bone marrow biopsy, to make sure that it was still gone. The leukemia was still gone, because I got lucky. I only have one true brother. And for me, it was lucky because he was an exact match.
Oh.
So I got extremely lucky on that part.
Definitely.
But after all I went through and stuff like this, what they say is true. When you get that close to death and you knock on death's door like that because of some serious tragic accident or some something that's supposed to kill you like cancer, you really do take a second look on your life. You actually look back on it and you start having those regrets, saying, why did I make that piss poor decision? Or why was I doing all of this for everybody else when they didn't give a fuck? and didn't care, you know. And I'm sitting here so miserable because, you know, you did all this stuff for people. They didn't give a shit. But what about you? So then you look at it and you come out of it and you say, all right, I'm going to start doing things for me and making me happy now. I got no responsibilities left. My kids are all adults, all three of them pretty much, you know, and it's like, what the hell? You know, then the family comes down on you because you're doing things that you've always wanted to do, but were held back.
Well, and I mean, the same kind of happened with my husband. We'll sit down and we'll have conversations. He worked, you know, he worked basically almost from 8 a.m. because he's like me. He'll get to work early to do stuff. So he'll work from 8 a.m. and then he stayed late working. So he'd be at work until 10, 11 p.m. And so now with me and the kids, because all my kids pretty much moved back home, we'll be talking about, oh, remember when we used to do this? Oh, and my husband's like, where was I? We're like, work. Where was I? Work. And now they have memories with him. So it's almost like sometimes these illnesses, as horrible as they are, or tragedies, are actually a blessing.
Yes.
Times.
You know, it's horrible as it sounds.
No, but it's true. It's definitely true.
Because he did not. Now it was funny because when we have 4 kids and they're stepping stones. I got them between the age 15 and 27, and I would go enroll kids in school, and I have one in lower elementary, one in upper elementary, one in junior high, one in high school. So I'm like all 4 places. I had folders, whose paperwork went with what kid. I had it all organized. Well, about 2 years ago, I looked at my husband and said, you know what? You're at home. You enroll the kid in school. You're dealing with school from here on out. He goes there. He said, I need this. I need this. I was like, okay. So I got all the paperwork ready. So here comes year 2. He's like, can you get the paperwork ready for me? I said, because he was never around for that. He barely made the football games. Now he's at every football game. He's at, he didn't do all that.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's the reality, guys. Let's look at this. Jeremy almost died a year ago.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
In all reality, he should have.
I should have. No sugarcoating that at all. I should have.
There's not. Joe, you're looking at death every day. In the face every day.
They say I'm past my expiration date.
There you go.
But I'm not going to let it slow me down because
There
I
you
do
go.
go out. I
It's
do go out.
mentality.
My wife and I do make plans to take trips, and
There you
she
go.
gets me out of the house and keeps me on. And when it gets warmer, like I said, there's less of the podcast and more of us investigating and checking out new places.
And that's great. That's what we want to see. Eileen,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
you wake up to death every day.
Mhm.
You wake up and see him every day, thinking,
Is
I
this
have
it?
him another day, but is this going to be the day?
Oh, I still roll over, and if he's pale or if
Right.
I
Yeah.
can't just feel him and see if he's cold because he's cold all. And when I say if any
Right.
of y'all ever have low
I'm like
blood
that.
flow, I'm gonna say
Right.
he's
My
always
hands are like ice all the time.
yeah.
Yeah.
But I'll still. He's like sometimes because he has a problem sleeping because of all his medications.
Mhm.
So I'll nudge him and wake his butt up. He's like, "Did you really wake me up?" I said, "I need to know if you were alive."
Right. Right.
Because
And-
I did find my mother.
Just put your hand on his chest. Feel his heart beating.
Baby, he's got a big old pacemaker. But my husband's like this big around, and his pacemaker, he's got the pacemaker defibrillator. And thank the TSA is so glad we're not suing people because we were putting my son on a plane to go back to he came back from Paris Island, but he had to go to Camp Lejeune. And so my husband, literally while he was home on leave, he had the surgery. My husband had the surgery. So he still had something covering where the pacemaker stitches were.
Mhm.
And so we were able to go back through security because my son being military to see my son off. Well, we're like, he can't go through the metal detectors because he's got this defibrillator.
Right.
And so we get through security, we go, and so they have to do the actual thing on him.
They bring the wand out.
Yeah. And so this guy goes, "What's this?" Grabs that piece and pulls
Oh,
it out of pocket. But my husband's so thin, they can't rebuild a new pocket.
no,
But- And so he's been living with that for years now. So you can't just feel his chest because, I mean, you're going to end up putting your hand, it just doesn't.
I can't imagine what that was like, but I had one of those Hickman catheters.
Hit him over the head with it.
I had a Hickman catheter in my chest that went right down to my heart. And 6 months before I was diagnosed, my youngest was born. And the nurses ended up calling her no, because those were the first words that came out of her mind, her mouth.
She kept trying to mess
Because
with
she
it.
kept going to grab that Hickman catheter and pulling on it, and everybody'd say no to her.
yeah.
Yeah, it's just, I mean, and like I said, we're not Sue people because I was like, dude, why do you think we didn't go through the metal detector? We told y'all just didn't relay the message.
I'm sorry.
those
If
things
it
hate
would have
me.
made my husband's life a living hell
Well,
after.
we didn't know either how that
Mm-mm.
they wouldn't be able to, that it would just not go back in a pocket, that it would mess it up. Because, I mean, he is, like I said, he is skin and bones. He didn't think he is.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they shouldn't have
Yeah.
grabbed it in the first place.
Mhm.
They shouldn't. Yeah,
What was
they
the-
should know better.
What was the security thinking?
Like cigarettes, or maybe he was hiding a weapon. Because
Yeah,
they
but they have no right to. They have no right to put their hands on anybody for any reason. They
No.
You know-
should have asked, "What is that?"
Our
Right.
airport
Right.
closes at 10 o'clock, like literally closes at 10. We have like a hole in the wall. It's called an international airport. I've been here for 20 some odd years. No, actually now 40 some odd years. I keep thinking I'm in my 20s.
You guys are idiots. You know,
And I've never seen an international flight go through here.
No,
You know-
no.
I worked for one of the oldest security outfits in the entire world, and it's called Pinkerton.
I know Pinkerton.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And I was one of their top rated on-site supervisors in Madison. And I saw a lot of crazy shit. Some of these young kids, they get that badge and they go on a power trip. Back when I was working security, and this is no joke, in the state of Wisconsin, back when I was working security, the guards had just as much protection as a police officer did. So if you hit that guard,
Right.
it was a felony. Okay.
Right.
It was just like hitting a police officer.
Yep.
Today, because of all these young punks that go on a power trip with that badge, now it's no longer a felony. It's just assault battery, and it's more or less a misdemeanor.
Right. Nick,
So I
what
don't
the
have any
hell's
protection.
going on with your head?
What are you talking about?
It disappeared like you had no head.
He's got it set up with a magic screen.
See, yeah, it's the green. He's got it. It's the green screen effect.
That's what
Shelby.
mine see, because I like to have fun with it.
Touch up on Shelby.
Shelby, sweetheart,
No.
don't regret
Let
working. I understand that you think you missed so much, but honey, you don't. You're making this work. You're making your family work.
But I will
Don't regret it.
say, just even if you have to work, because I've had to work. Basically, I started working at 15, trying to be a single mom and all that.
Wait a minute.
Make every moment count. You can still be a full-time worker and still let every moment count.
You can.
We're
Jeremy,
women. We can have it all.
who's running this? Put Joe's picture up there like full screen.
Okay.
I want to see this. Okay, Joe, explain this to me, please. What
What?
is
See a
with this
tattoo on you.
swastika?
No, you don't. Okay.
No,
don't
I
think-
want to know the story behind this.
Okay. all my life, my mother never learned to drive. So after my leukemia, and my mother was always my best friend. Okay, I'm a mama's
Oh.
boy. I'll admit it.
That's
My dad
awesome.
was pretty much an alcoholic and never really around much. So I was real close to my mom. And because I was a cab driver after the leukemia, when she had a doctor's appointment or she wanted to go grocery shopping, she would call me because she knew I could take a break at any time and take her. So one day I'm sitting there driving my mom and picking her, I picked her up and we were going to lunch to start with. And she's like, just out of the blue, she looks over at me and she's like, you kind of look like Charles Manson. And it's like, thanks a
Wow.
lot, Mom.
Jeez.
And I pretty much joked around with her ever since then. But then her sister introduced me at the hospital to the nurses when I went up to see my cousin because she got into a car accident. She's like, "Oh, this is my nephew, Jesus Christ."
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
And then one day I was in Walgreens and I had this old like jean jacket on that I had made at one time, and they like, "Aren't you that Leo guy from that '70s show?"
Oh.
And I'm like, "Yeah, I wish." I mean, who wouldn't want to been Tommy Chong, and have that good shit? But that's just my opinion. So yeah, I
Okay.
played with it. I've gone in. They've asked for my ID after he passed away, and they had him on what was it, Life magazine or Time magazine, and the lady had to ask for my ID for a pack of smokes, and I pointed to the magazine and I go, "There it is, right there."
Okay. So, okay. I'm not even going to. I'm not even going to apologize for. Okay. I really thought that was you.
I'm about to tell you, I was like, Adrian's not getting it. Adrian's
No, I
not
really didn't. I really didn't because I was like, what the fuck just happened? And the whole time you're talking, I'm looking at this going, where the fuck is the tattoo right now?
That's not that was confirmed me. I was like, Adrian's not getting it.
Okay.
Yeah,
We're gonna
they said
blame
I
this
should do
on
that.
Adrian
I should put
being
that on with
senile.
marker
Okay, we're gonna blame it on that
for
right
Halloween and just go out.
now. Brad, you need to shut the fuck up. Got it? Okay. Brad, I'm not senile enough to not know your name, not know where you live, and find your damn ass. You got me?
So, Joe, I can relate to you on that because I have been compared to many other people myself, one of them being Jesus, but mostly I get compared to Mick Foley.
Oh yeah, I can see that. I
Yeah.
know who that is.
Yeah, usually when I have the long hair and when I do have my beard out, I would get compared to him more than anybody else. Also, baseball player Johnny Damon, I think his name, Johnny Damon, Snake Plissken. Yep,
Yeah.
being compared to him.
Okay, until those people have had me touch their beard, they don't have a chance to talk. So,
Y'all want to laugh? This is also when I was a lot smaller. Y'all want to know who people used to compare me to?
We know who you got compared to.
So, yeah, take a guess. If you had to think of a celebrity, who would you compare me to?
no. All right, everybody put your guesses in, but I'm going to tell you this much. Number one, Jeremy has almost died. I've been there for that. Joe, you can tell. I mean, obviously, he's got this shit under control. He's not dying anytime soon. He's done been through that. He's done. It's over. Now, Eileen has been there. Since I've met her, I really have thought the whole time that I'm going to get the call that her husband's gone. This whole time, I really thought that was going to happen. But in all reality, we look at this, whether it's going to be me. I mean, if anybody looks at a show from a year ago, I was on a show talking about, okay, I'm only going to be on here for a little bit because I'm hurting. And I'm going to go to the hospital here in a minute. And I did go to the hospital, and they kept me because I had blood clots that were about to kill me. They were in my lungs. Did I think it was that serious? Of course not. No. But I knew I was hurting, but I knew I was going to do this show. I wasn't dead. So I was going to get on here and I was going to do this show. But
Well, just like me, with my condition, I did not realize how bad it really was.
you really don't. And I really think death is that way. I really do. And I hope that it is that way. That we're like, okay, we're going to do this. Fuck death. We are still moving. We're okay.
I'm not done. I got a bucket list to fulfill.
Like I tell my husband, I can still go before he does. Tomorrow is not promised. 2
That's
seconds from now is
exactly
not
right.
promised.
Exactly. And that's like him. Like every day he's like, he's got migraines. He fights every day.
I got rid of those.
He's a jackass every day, but that's not the point.
I don't have those no more.
Oh no?
Oh, man.
How'd
I wish
that
I
happen?
could say the same. I still get
How'd that happen? Do you want
Yeah.
the truth? Do you want the
Yes.
truth? How I got
Yes,
rid of
please.
migraines permanently?
Yeah.
I reduced all stress as much as possible, and I started smoking pot.
I'm about to say, it had to
Oh,
be
man.
quiet. But
Now-
Zach
I wish
can't
I could. I
get rid
can't
of the
though.
stress. He lives with Adrian.
That's right.
Unfortunately, I can't
That's-
ever
well,
smoke
you
that
know,
stuff.
He lives with
I-
me. So
I
let's
shouldn't
just go.
be either because it's not legal here in Wisconsin.
I did hear that pot
But it
will
is
get rid
here.
of migraines.
Well,
But,
no, it's not.
okay, so he lives with me. All blood flow goes somewhere else. It is not stress. So hell
But-
no. That is not the issue.
To answer
But-
y'all's question on the other subject, Madonna is one of them. The other one's Cameron Diaz. When I was young, when I was
Okay, I
thinner,
can see that.
when I was
I can see
thinner.
that.
Did you ever run your hand through your hair and your hair stick up?
I had the hair that because it got to be because my hairdresser told me we have the same facial structure, so I got to be where I was looking through magazines and figuring out what her new
Oh,
hairstyle
yep.
was. And I wanted new hairstyles.
Yep.
Man, I
But-
wish if I could just with what you just said, Joe, if I was able to smoke myself, that would definitely be the end of my migraines because I get them a lot. I really do.
And
you
they can
really?
be and I know how
Yeah, I
bad
do.
they get because they can be extremely debilitating. I
Yes.
I had them, and I couldn't focus on anything. You can't sit there and watch TV. You can't
There
sit
you
there
go.
and you don't want to listen to music because it doesn't help.
The
You
room
you can't
fun.
focus on you wouldn't be able to read a book or much less look at your computer.
Right.
So basically, it is debilitating, and people don't understand how bad migraines can really be.
They really don't. But this man,
To one of his migraines last year.
Yeah, at the Paraunity events.
yep,
Yeah.
I remember that.
Pretty.
I remember that. But let's
I
think
mean-
about this. Everybody handles it differently because we get used to the pain. Just like a woman who has
Well, you
kids.
build
with
a
no
pain
painkiller.
threshold. You build a pain tolerance, and
Right.
mine's pretty high. And
Right.
see, I got 2 things up here, and I don't take them too often because I don't believe in pills, and I got to take pills for my heart as it is. Okay,
See,
Hey, sister.
so I've got Tylenol with codeine here,
What's
which
that?
is very strong, and I've got
Missy?
something called Flexeril or cyclobenzaprine,
Okay,
which is
yes.
muscle
He
relaxer.
takes that too. Mhm.
Okay. Now, if those don't work, I end up in the ER as a last resort. And
Really?
and sometimes that can be, especially when the migraines hit back in the day. Like I said, and I had a what do you call that? I had a protocol by my I actually had a doctor, this is rare. I had a doctor that actually walked a mile in my shoes. Okay. This doctor actually was diagnosed with the same type of leukemia I had, but his was caught much earlier.
Mhm.
Okay. So he didn't have all of the bad, leftover side effects that will be with you for the rest of your life. like the neuropathy in my legs, for example. He didn't get that, but he did understand it because he walked a mile in my shoes. So he wrote this protocol, that they had to give me Demerol and Visceral, and it was this much. And if it didn't work, they had to keep doing it up to like 3 or 4 shots. Okay. And the reason is because I'm one of these rare people that I can eat all I want. And I know you might hate me. Women might hate me for this.
Oh, I already know where this is going, and I hate you because you're like my husband.
I can eat all I want and anything I want, and I don't gain weight.
My husband doesn't either. My husband's
I have a very high metabolism.
My husband
That's
is
what
like
I was high metabolism.
So sometimes those painkillers and stuff, because of the high metabolism, those painkillers, that stuff doesn't have an effect on you.
See, my husband's 137 pounds. Yeah, I hate him.
I'm 145 at 6 foot.
Times 4?
Damn, that is skinny.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Times 4?
My husband wears a 29 waist jean.
Oh
Mine's
no.
32.
What, 32? That's one of my
That's
boys.
still tiny.
But my
Yeah.
husband's like a 29.
Well, when
30 or
I
29.
was younger, before the leukemia, I had to find 27-inch jeans that had a 34 inseam. They were
See, my
literally
husband-
impossible to find.
We have to go to sometimes my husband has to go to the boys department, but it doesn't fit in the crotch.
Right.
Chrissy, is that because of his illness that he had? I don't want to go into that if you don't, but is that because of what happened, or is that what he normally was? Oh, Brad, trust me, I'm fucking fat compared to that shit. No, I'm not even going there. We're not even
Look,
going
I'll
there.
get on the scale, and my husband will get on the scale after me. I'm like, can I just say that's my weight?
He's
You're tiny. I don't want to hear that shit.
Adrian. She said that he's always been that thin.
Okay. So, okay. I was going somewhere else with
Yeah,
that.
I
Never mind,
grew
sorry.
up this way. I was always this way. I mean, it was
I
much
was-
worse when I was younger.
Like I said, Shelby, enjoy it now because I literally was, and I rotate between a 0 and
Brad,
a
you are
2
not.
up until
You are
literally
not
about
a
2 years
300,
ago,
Brad.
about a year and a half ago to 2 years ago, and now it's like it won't come off.
Right. Yeah. Oh, hell no. When I hit 40, done. Fucking done.
Mine was about 41,
Yeah.
and I was
I-
so
I-
proud because I had I got Joe. You don't know, I got pregnant in high school. I got pregnant at 15.
I did too.
I had my baby at 16. So it took me a while to lose the baby weight. So by the time I graduated high school, I think I was probably and for me, it was big for me at the time because I was right at 100 pounds when I got pregnant. And so I was probably in a size 8, 9, 10, something like that in high school.
Oh, you were one of them trouble women.
Actually, I had a
Right.
steady
Oh,
boyfriend.
see, women that have see, you got to realize I grew up in an Italian family. We like a little meat on the bones. Okay. So and I always thought that those women that are that tiny, they're nothing but trouble anyways, because they're always sitting there. They're going to get you late because, I don't like what I wear. Is this okay? I got to go change, or this doesn't look right, or I can't get my hair to do something, and they're trying to get their hair to do things that God never intended hair to do.
I was the weird one. I was the I didn't do cheerleading in high school, but I did do some cheerleading, gymnastics and all, but I was the softball girl. I played soccer. All my friends were guys.
No, nothing but trouble.
Yeah, I mean, it was like
Still
I
is
was just
trouble.
I've always was into whatever seemed fun at the time. Of course, hence why I got pregnant. But I ended up. So here comes my 10-year reunion. I was like, okay, I am thin again. I am going to go show these people at school. About 4 months before the reunion, 4 or 5 months before the reunion. Guess what? You're pregnant. Gee, thanks. I was
Life's got a
really.
way of kicking you right in the ass when you.
I
when
am
you don't
not
want
cute
to,
pregnant.
right?
I do triple chin, not cute pregnant.
See, I
Chrissy.
never went to those things. I didn't want to go to those reunions.
Get him, Chrissy, get him.
And Chrissy's in Indiana, so she's not far from Brad.
I
Yeah.
never went to those reunions.
See,
You know,
I was
You know-
that type that I didn't care who you were. If you were cool, I hung out with you. People. Luke Woodham from the Pearl High School shooting. I danced with him at my senior prom. He was junior. I was a senior. His date was a friend of mine. I mean, and that's why I say, if anybody wants to know about the Pearl School shooting, the news made a crock of shit. Okay, anyways, but I was the type, I didn't care if you were the football player, if you were the cheerleader, if you were the biggest nerd on the planet. I was a nerd. I was the stupid one that took senior year, didn't need to, but I took physics senior year, 0 period, and trigonometry. So, Brad, I do have a brain.
no, nothing wrong with that. You know, my first 3 years of high school were like a nightmare. You know, and it wasn't really because of high school. It was home life.
Yeah,
Okay.
and that happens more. More people
Okay,
that have
But
problems.
my
with high
senior year, and I went from big city schools to a small town where everybody knew everybody. The population was about 300.
Mine
Okay.
wasn't that small, but it was small.
And I didn't like it. I didn't fit in. Okay. So that was against me right from the get-go. You know, but anyway, I got back to where I belong. And my senior year pretty much ruled the school. And because I took out my first day there, I took out the bully. I beat the shit out of the school bully because he got in my face. And my dad always told me, you know, don't start things, but, you know, be sure you can finish them. You know,
See, I'm
and
the type when I go ahead, I'm sorry.
so I ruled the school for a while, but I was a stoner. I mean, I was stoned from before school started till the time school was over with for me. And I was, you know, and this is against what most people believe, but I'm going to break this is a myth buster for you. I graduated honor roll.
I was
stoned my entire senior year and I graduated honor roll.
You just
Right back.
knew how to obtain it. I mean, you just obtained things differently.
Well, I didn't have to work for it.
Yeah.
I got tested at a young age, and I was doing math at, you know, levels that I shouldn't have been doing it at. I'm sure that's why you took trig. You know, you were able to do math at levels that were above what you normally should have been able to do it at for somebody your age. Blah blah blah. You know.
And this was back in the days before algebra.
Well, I failed. I'll tell you, I failed algebra once in this small town school because I wouldn't show my work.
Yeah.
He put the thing right there and he accused me of cheating. He did. He flunked me for cheating.
Well.
He puts the problem up on the board and I'll sit there and I'll go put the answer up there for him.
See, now,
You
I
know,
was the
and it's
type
like,
that,
well, where's your work? And I said, I did it up here.
when I went back to high school, you know, because my kids all went to the same high school I went to. I think there was maybe 60-something, 70-something in my graduating class. Maybe the people who did graduate. But I went back to the school when my kids started going there, and it was tough letting them go there because of everything that went on. But teachers were still coming up to me. I want your kid. I want your kid. My son's like, I don't want you though. I don't want to be Eileen's son because they all remember when he was born.
Yeah.
But I was also that type that I worked in the principal's office, and you know, because I just wanted something to do. Now, the only reason I took physics was because
teacher's pet.
and I really wasn't even that. It was just I was just
Sorry.
me. And now I will say that when I was the type that I did talk a lot, go figure. And people be like, "Well, you're not moving Eileen." They said, "Well, I can't move Eileen. She'll just find the next person to talk to." And that, but then they start going, "But do you have 100 average in this class?" And then they would be like, just I mean, just I remember one time I took my son because I had him during midterms, so I had to study at home, couldn't be in class. And one girl said, "You still look pregnant." My teacher looked at her and said, "But she just had a baby. What's your excuse?" Nowadays, he would have been fired.
Oh shit. All right. So
Well, back then, people didn't get offended like they do now.
Right.
Yeah.
You can
no, because they're a bunch of
The world,
flipping
the world turned
snowflakes.
into a bunch of pussies.
Yeah.
There we go.
I mean,
Okay, so
you know,
I have to go to work tomorrow, so I got to get my vet to
too.
bed. But I'm going to tell you this: there's not one of us here, and I know that we haven't had Joe on forever, and he's not. But I know who he is, and I just know. We have a limited time. We really do. What we do with that time, whatever.
Have
I mean,
fun with it.
it's not. It's just not what people think it is. So, but I am going to tell you this: it's not going to be long before one of us, and I don't know who it is. I'm not trying to pretend I do. I don't.
you wouldn't want
We're
that.
gonna
That's a
need
curse.
everybody else, and because one of us is not going to be here.
Yo,
Whether it's going to be our spouses, whether it's going to be us, whether it's going to be, somebody we know. It doesn't
I don't
matter.
like
We've
thinking about
all-
that stuff. I have a problem. Okay.
Right.
After everything I went through,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm sure you want to get into that later in a deeper time, but I have what I call more of a curse because I don't like it, but I can tell when bad things are going to happen before they happen. And ever since
Get it.
then, it's gotten stronger to the point where I can narrow it down to a couple of people.
I get it. Yep.
And I haven't been
no,
wrong yet.
I do get it.
I actually had something similar to that, Joe. Right after COVID hit, for the next year and a half, I had this strong sense of some impending doom, like something was going to happen to me. And then eventually it actually did happen in the least expected way that I could have ever have imagined. I was thinking maybe car wreck because that my family has a history of that, people dying in car wrecks, medical condition, because we got a shitload of those. I never expected what happened to me would ever happen. So
And that's okay.
I
That's
can
what
really
it's meant to
relate.
be.
I had that sense of doom coming. It's just a matter of when is it going to happen?
Right.
And then boom.
Right. And yeah, I've always had this thing, and I don't know how many people will understand because I've never said it out loud before. But like you're walking into a building, say it's your job, and you look around and it's like it looks different. Like you'll never be there again, or like it's all new again. And this is probably one of the last few days you're going to be there again.
Yeah.
I don't understand it. I don't know, but it's happened all my life. And
Well, some
I
things are
know
not
I'll
meant to
look
be
around and
explained.
go, wow. This
Well-
is something, it's weird.
Adrian, it was like that at mine because my factory is going through an expansion. It's still going through an expansion.
Mine was never different. I would just look around, even my own home, and I would look around and go, huh, feels like either I've never been here before or I never will be again. And I usually before long, something happens, a divorce or, whatever it is, you're not there again.
Right.
And I've never heard of anybody else being able to say that again and make sense of that. Of course, I've never actually said that out loud because it sounds as crazy as hell.
Well,
But
Sounds crazy when you're thinking about it.
well,
It does.
you got to realize though, because of the whole paranormal world you're in, if you keep thinking with an open mind, and you got to realize anything's possible.
it is.
Nothing's,
It is.
nothing's impossible. I mean, you know, the more and more you look into things, the more and more you know, you're going to find an answer to something someday.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
I hope.
You
I
find
mean,
more
we've got a lot of
questions.
research into this one cryptid, and you know, people are still trying to say, "Oh no, it doesn't exist," but yet there's all this proof and evidence out there, but
Yeah.
not enough to totally, you know, prove it via science. You know, because castings and stuff. Well, they say this thing. You know, DNR will say one thing, and
Right.
this expert will say another thing, and then somebody will say, "I have no clue what it is."
Right.
Yeah.
Brad, stop that.
What,
You're not
this?
going anywhere. You are not going
No, he's
anywhere.
talking about when you take care of them.
But then you
I'll
got to
take
also
care of 'em.
realize that
I don't
because of
mind.
the area, there's also a lot of misidentifications out there too. But you know, when you get a lot of these stories, and they are, you know, years and years and decades apart, and almost the exact same description of the creature or whatever, there's got to be some credibility there somewheres.
Right.
Right.
Exactly.
And
I'm like
and
this.
and you just got to realize that you know, anything's possible. And
That's right.
the area we're in, that we've been investigating for the last 3 years, is more like the Skinwalker Ranch of
Yeah.
Wisconsin.
And we're actually going to this summer. I got the chance to go to Blind Frog Ranch, which is right next to Skinwalker Ranch. And will I make it? I don't know. But I do have to say this. If it's me that goes before anybody else, it's okay. We got all these shows. You can replay them and see the bitch I was. That's fine. I have no problem with that. But it's okay because we've all done what we're supposed to do in the time we were here. And don't think I won't hunt somebody's ass, because I will.
As long as no matter what happens to me, if anything ever happens to me, I just hope no matter what, I always have someone, when they think of me, they'll smile. That's all. That's my goal in life. That's my only goal in life.
Oh no. When we think of you, we're gonna slap somebody's ass.
There you go. But you'll smile doing it.
My whole thing is I don't want to be forgotten after I'm gone.
Oh fuck no. If I'm alive, you will always be right there.
Yeah.
Nick?
Shelby,
Nick ain't fucking going nowhere because he's like, I'm telling you right now, if his mom outlives me, that woman, she doesn't scare me, but I respect that woman as much as any woman in this world because she is awesome. She loves him. She only wants the best for him, and but she's still giving him that room to just go, do what you need to do.
Yeah.
But let me tell you, you let him fuck up, I'm gonna kick your ass. And that woman is amazing. I really hope someday I get to sit down and have dinner with her because she is amazing.
Yes, she is.
She is. And tell her I said that.
Oh, I
his
will.
friends, having never met me, trusted me to pick him up and take him to Kansas and back.
Right. And she never met me either, but I did talk to her every single step of the way.
Yeah.
I would text her before. I think she felt like if she would message that she's like trying to be nosy, but I would always message her before she messaged me. And I would say, hey, he's doing this, or he's already had his breakfast. He's fine. And she's like, well, I knew he would, but I felt the need to just let her know that I'm right here and he's right there. Even though I have no doubt in this world that no matter what, Nick can make it on his own regardless.
Yeah.
It wouldn't matter if there was anybody else there or not. That boy, I think he could take care of us when we're old.
Shelby, I don't know if you're still here, but I do want to let you know that while yes, I get that, you know, having a job, we all have to be able to have a job to be able to live. But at the same time, I would argue that a job is not that important when it comes to things that are really important. If you need to miss out on work because of something else that you deem more important than the job, go.
I've done that.
Mhm.
Yeah, because I'm gonna say, and the people in my work may get pissed off. I really don't give a damn. Um, but at my work, there is no respect for personal life.
No, and and your state is ridiculous.
Yeah. So so for us, we could have something planned for several months, and then it's like, oh, we need you to work in 2 days, even though you're off. No, I got something planned. Here's my hotel reservation. No, we still need you here. And then they're gonna dock you for attendance if you
Well,
don't.
I quit a job because the guy was not gonna. It was just me and the guy owned. It was like one of these mom and pop video stores back when video stores were a big thing.
I
And I had
Actually,
a
just
once,
tell someone, please be kind and rewind.
yeah,
remember
exactly.
those tapes too.
Um, and I had a once in a lifetime family reunion to go to, and this thing was planned for like almost 2 years ahead of time because people came from Italy, California. I mean, it was huge. And he was saying, "Oh, the owner said, okay, no problem." I said, "Look, you got to realize this is a once in a lifetime deal, and I've never taken a day off. I managed his store for him, saved him a lot of money, and never took a day off. That was the first time I asked for a day off." He says, "Okay, okay." He comes, he's like, "I'm going to be in at noon. I can't, and I can only stay for 2 hours. So you can only be gone for 2 hours." And I'm going, fuck that. So when he came in, I says, "Have a nice day. I'm not coming back." So, and I stayed at my family reunion without regret too, you know,
It
because
might be hard to find sometime, but there's something else
sometimes,
for
like,
it.
you know, even little things, but that was like family. And for me back then, family was like top priority. You know, blood was
Yeah.
thicker than water. And a
Absolutely.
measly job like that paid me salary where I wasn't even making minimum wage per hour wasn't worth keeping, you know, over some, you know. And then
Family,
the guy had the gall to come and try to search my house for what he deemed was stolen tapes.
Oh, jeez.
Oh my
fam-
God.
Now,
family
here's the side of this.
over work, and like Brad said, you work to live, but you don't live to work.
I say
No,
that too, Brad, unfortunately.
karma
Brad, shut your mouth.
kind of got that guy in the ass in the long run, because what turned out, I ended up buying him out about 10 years later.
There you go. There you
Okay.
go. Brad,
However, I got shut down because he had no legal right to sell it, and he ended up passing away of a heart attack because of all of this stuff. He was never paying taxes
oh
and stuff.
wow.
But right around that time that happened, Blockbuster came in and started moving like 3 blocks down. They just started moving into the Madison, Wisconsin area, and there was no way I was going to be able to compete with a multi-billion-dollar chain either.
Oh no, yeah.
So, I
Right.
mean, kind of fate stepped in and helped me out there, but it gave me a lot of business experience.
Right. And that's probably what you needed right then the most.
Because, well,
More
I
than
was
anything else.
successful. I was very successful. Most businesses don't show a profit, but because of what I was doing and how I was doing it, I located between high schools.
Right.
So I had a back room on this 24,000 or 2,400 square foot property. I had a back room that was separated by a door. I put a pool table, a dartboard, a pinball machine, and a couple of other video games back there. And I opened it up during lunch hour. You know, and then after school, of course, made a fortune. You know.
Okay, Brad. All right, dude. Let's leave it at this, okay? If anything happens to me, I'll let you have it, bub. You can play all those you want. You can dub them over. You can whatever. Until then, be scared. The day I pass, and it's all over Facebook that I do, you can say, watch this. Until then, I will counter your ass. Trust me, I will. And if I'm still living, I promise you, there will be a video where you are on your knees saying, oh my God, I lied. Or I fucked up. Whatever the case might be, it will happen. But if I pass before, that's okay. Put it on there all you want. I will haunt your ass exclusively. No worries there.
Exclusively.
Of that, I have no doubt.
That's right. But until then, I'm going to tell you what. None of us know. None of us know when our number's up.
Nope.
None of us know when somebody close to us is going to be gone. Now, I saw Chrissy on here a minute ago. I don't know if she's still here. If she is, I will give her the credit due. She is half the reason I'm where I'm at. I will always love that girl.
That's a
Whatever's
strong woman
happened
right
in
there.
between now and then, not my problem. I don't give a shit.
That is a strong woman right there. I will tell you.
She is. Absolutely. I will never defy that statement. She is also part of the reason I took the path I did. Actually, she's about a quarter of the reason I took the path I did. I have no problem saying that. I love that girl. Always will. Whatever path she wants to take, I don't know what she says about me or what she doesn't. I don't care.
Actually, I tell her, I said, because you used to talk about her all the time. Jeremy used to talk about her all the time. I said, I had to, after Jeremy's accident, I have to reach out to this girl. I need to know who this Chrissy bitch is.
And it's really strange because our paths that we take or our accidents or Jeremy's known me a long time, long before I took the path I did now. And he was a part of every path I took. I would call him at midnight. And be like, what the fuck is going on right now? Why is this? And, he was one of my best friends and is still. If something happened, I'd be calling him. I don't give a shit if it's 2 a.m. I'm calling that man.
Who is this Facebook user? Because he's like, what did I just come back to?
I'm not sure.
Actually,
Eileen talked to me from New Mexico to here every step of the way. And, these people here are the ones that know every intimate detail of our lives. And that's okay.
Mm-hmm.
There is nothing wrong with that. Have we made mistakes in our lives? Sure we have.
And we're going to continue making mistakes too.
Of course we will.
And what friends do, they let you make the mistakes. They might be like, I told you so, but they're going to be
exactly.
Well, my friends will be laughing their ass off. I'll do it again so I can get it on video.
I have
and like Joe.
Doing that too.
Right. And like Joe,
it's Blake.
I could see calling Joe in the middle of the night saying, I'm doing this, and he's going, fucking bitch, what the fuck you thinking? You get your ass back where you belong, get your head straight, and get your shit together, and then call me when you got it together. You got me?
Mhm.
And I'm telling you, Chrissy did the exact same thing. I don't know if she's still here.
I don't think she is.
No, I don't
Even
think.
if she's not, I love her. I always will. I don't care who says what, who tells her different. I don't care.
Right
Yeah.
now, we only have one viewer from the page that Chrissy was on, and that's Blake right now.
That's okay, Blake.
And I do want to say this about Chrissy. Throughout my whole accident, she was a major help.
Absolutely, she was. She texted me the whole time she was there.
Yeah,
And
because she
you know
helped me
what?
out in the hospital. She was also the one who discovered a piece of plexiglass that was still in my lip.
Oh my God, I remember that.
Well,
Oh,
you gotta have
boy.
my
people.
God, I remember that.
Well,
You gotta have people. You
That
gotta
was-
have people in your corner.
But it
You
took
know, I
all of
did.
us.
You know,
It took all of us. It
Yeah.
was me. It was Chrissy. It was Eileen. It was Crystal. It
Tim.
was Tim. It was Scotty.
Nick.
It was all of us at the same time going, oh my God, this can't happen. And it was all of us behind the scenes saying, if something happens to him, what's going to happen? And all the time we're telling you, you're okay, we're good. It's okay. And in the background, we're going, oh my God, what's going to happen to him? What is really happening to him right now? And Chrissy actually keeping in contact saying, no, he's okay. He looks good. He's coherent. He's okay. And if it hadn't been for her,
Definitely.
a lot of us would have been
Lost
a
it.
lot different.
Yeah, surprisingly, I was coherent. I was surprised that I was even able to text people that night. And there were things from that night that I actually forgot about that people had to remind me of a few days later. Texting certain people and talking to people on the phone after that initial surgery that night.
All right, guys, I love y'all.
You're tired.
I'm
can tell you're
exhausted.
tired.
I've been at work since
Oh.
like 6:50, and my back is killing me. So I'm fixing to head out. Joe, I am so glad you came on. Like I said, I won't be on next week, but you can take you have my permission to take my place.
Let's get Joe on next week. Let's go ahead and call
Are
it
you
an hour.
listening to her? Are you listening to this?
We got about
If
the
she
same.
is not here, she does not get permission for shit.
No, we got about the same length of hair. I think he could pass as me.
Not unless he wants to put a bra on and grab some people's asses. No,
I'm sure he would.
I don't think so.
All right. Yeah.
But
It
we can
really is. We're like an hour past where we should be.
Yeah, let's go ahead and call it a night. We've been running for 3 hours. Joe, would you come back onto the show next week?
Sure.
And then we can talk about those experiences you had mentioned before.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I can do
All
that.
right. I love y'all. I do. Joe, if you get a chance, message me. I really would love to know what you went through.
No, Brad.
7 hours left. Brad,
Acknowledge
come
that.
on, bud. You run that next 7 hours, big boy. Keep going. Come on.
Oh, wait, Brad, you're asking for a 12-hour show, February 22nd.
There you go.
Yeah.
You think you're big? Bring it, boy. Bring it.
For that.
Because I won't be here, but bring it.
Yeah.
We're gonna attempt that one day.
Right? All right. Y'all,
So
thank you. You guys are amazing. As always, there's we don't hide shit. This is who we are. This is it. Brad, I will hide your body, but that's a whole different story. All right, guys.
All right.
Thank you for everything. Good night.
Night, everyone.
Hi, good night,
Good
everyone.
night.
thank you for playing along. and we will see you next week.
Nope.
Except Eileen.
I'll be drinking.
Good night, guys.
Good night, guys.